Every folks, and good evening. So, welcome to a thing that's kind of been knocking around in my head for a couple of weeks at this point. Basically, we've got the rock only run, right? Thing is honestly drier than a desert as far as actually watching the thing goes. Not a whole lot of talking. Well, I mean, there's plenty of talking going on, but realistically, most of it is just knocking stuff around for like basically no damage over and over and over. But this is a run that's basically only going to really reach its heyday, reach its peak, reach its sort of actual functional, interesting to watch viability once we end up getting to around the chapter 2 mark. All right. So what I figured we'd kind of do in the meantime there, also hi there Tranquil Tartwig, nice to see you. But yeah, so I figured what we do in the meantime is we'd have some of these remixes playing in the background and just kind of judge them for what they are, because this was a very interesting project that's been going on for, I think he's been working on it for a couple of months now. There have been a few hints dropped here and there, but for those unfamiliar, like, look, 99.9% of the time, if there's anything robot-related as far as stuff being put together, it's like immediately going into the, oh my god, this is just like, why pile. This is one of these situations where it's like basically being used to emulate a whole bunch of different styles to basically do a remix of the entire series in a whole bunch of different ways. And this stuff's good. So I figured we'd go ahead and kind of review them song by song. He was kind enough to send me the whole track list, and figured we'd kind of just shove them into a randomizer here, and yeah, just go ahead and play that in the background while we're sitting here throwing rocks at things for, you know, potentially hours on end. Now, let's go ahead and get started on this thing. So last time, 4 hours into this thing, we're only getting into Chrysaro, so yeah, that's a time. That is certainly a time. Alright, now I forget, did I ever actually... I don't think I ever threw anybody into any training or anything, but either way, Cap's gonna be at 5 anyway. Not really a huge deal. Did you have healing? Yeah, I forget what exactly I banned or didn't ban for this run. Let's see, healing. I think I was trying to do some speed last time. That's what it was. Some speed ups would have definitely been helpful. I don't think we have BOS at the store yet. That's what it was. Okay. So let's see. You here, you here. You can get rid. Do we really need you? You were throwing around stuns and sleeps and things. Yeah, that could be really useful. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll need your recruits. I'm thinking probably. Let's see, who's gonna be a bit better here? Mine 52. This guy's at. Not even remotely as close. Okay, yeah, let's get rid of him. And there we go. Let's go get going. So, currently, and I'm actually going to go restart the current one here because I personally really like this one, and I've been talking over most of it. So this was a remix of Footsteps from the Darkness from Lucht. And this is actually a kind of reimagining of this particular theme, going from the sort of like, hey, stuff's going wrong type of vibes here, to essentially turning more into a sort of chill piano kind of situation here. In fact, there was a really good smooth jazz remix of one of these. Hopefully we'll find it next somewhere in the list. Again, I just popped them in here at random. It popped up the first time I had the video up, and yeah, there was the smooth jazz remix was just pretty darn on point. Anyway, so yeah, if anybody has any questions or thoughts or whatever else on anything that we're hearing in the background, please do let me know, and I'll answer as best as I can. And to reiterate what was going on with this challenge run right here, just to kind of go over the rules again, basically the deal is that damage can only be done courtesy of throwing a stone at something. Now, the reason that this matters, the reason that it was this particular version that was actually chosen, is multifold. So for one thing, doing a rock-only run of the SNES or PS1 version is actually not that bad. Rocks are a pretty viable weapon in that one. So mostly it would just end up being slower, not necessarily anything terribly ridiculous. However, when we got to the PSP version, rocks actually kind of had a lot of ways that they could potentially be manipulated with things like being able to scale up with anatomy, strength, and whatever else. So you basically had a lot of your bonuses sort of built into your characters as you went along. The reason that Reborn in particular is chosen is because rocks have never been this weak throughout the entire series for the most part. There's technically some asterisks to that particular thing, but yeah. Let's see. Oh god, that that was the run you were doing. I forgot, honestly. It seemed appropriate. Most of the remixes they're gonna be playing in the background are like rock remixes of different stuff, and then apparently we're just going with the like smooth jazz and or just like chill piano vibes remixes for some of these. Which, by the way, one little note that you wouldn't see from having seen their mixes and whatever else. Which now that I think about it, did they put the chill ones out there? Warren, if you show up here and you didn't put the chill ones out here, I apologize. I'll take those off the list immediately. I literally just put the entire thing into a thing, and I just realized I don't actually know if he did take those off or if those ones have been up yet. I genuinely have no idea. But, okay, I guess we'll find out. If he asks me to take those particular ones off, we will. But yeah, no. So yeah, no, what we're doing with this run is primarily just, for the first chapter, we have next to nothing going on. At most, we're dealing, like, friggin' 12, 15, like 15s and such. It's mostly Denim and Canopus that can do anything of remote threateningness, mostly Canopus. Don't even have a elemental advantage in most of these cases, so there's not too much to play with just yet. The first thing that we're really going to be working towards is getting a hold of... oh yeah, shoot, I forgot to deal with Vice. Whatever, we'll just let him off himself and then we'll go forward from there. So the main thing that we gotta deal with, at least attempt to deal with early on here, is we're going to attempt to get a hold of a couple of lizards. Now, we don't necessarily need to do that just yet. We can do that later. I just feel like if by any chance there's somewhere to get a hold of like a Juggernaut mark or something like that I'm forgetting, it'd be better off to have them in the team rather than not. Soothing melodies to torture yourself with crazy runs with. Yeah, exactly. Alright, so next we have, looks like a remix of the Battle 1 theme from what's it, Night of Lotus. By the way, a little bit of a side note here. Yeah, what I was trying to get at earlier, I'm surprised he didn't use the fact that he made a bunch of, like, rock album thumbnails in the background for all of these. I don't know if he was planning to, like, post them up or something, but genuinely, it's, like, it's a bunch of very oddly specific things, like like, for this particular one, I think it's supposed to be a spear sticking out of a rock stump with a circle around it, some castles, lighting going on in the background, and a bunch of drums holding swords. It's so oddly specific. I love it. Anyway, like, again, this is why I say, like, when it comes to any kind of, robot-assisted tools and whatever else, this stuff, for the most part, has a lot of very, very negative stuff to it. But every now and then, you'll see that there was a true passion project that probably would not have been possible otherwise. So, this is, again, one of those cases where we're just gonna look the other way on that particular one because the result is something cool. Okay. So currently on this this particular map, this is actually where we ended up getting partially soft-locked last time. Basically what has to happen is that the ghosts want to go away first. So they're the first thing that has to be dealt with here. We can recruit the human units by just spamming recruit enough, obviously. They don't really have any source of healing at this point. But yeah, no, we have very little in terms of actual damage that can be done. Let's see, a thumbnail that detailed feels like it was meant to be seen. Okay, well, here, let me see if I can... hold on, let me... Like, it wasn't even just album covers. I think it's literally, like, per song. They were just making a thumbnail of what came to mind. Let me see if I can... See if I can... See if I can crop these a little better. Oh, this cropping thing takes a bit of a second. Hold on. Go, there's one. Yeah, I think when he started with these remixes, I think, remixes. Now, correct me if I'm wrong in this. I think where it originally started from was when he was trying to do like a sort of pseudo like a pseudo Night of Lotus Reborn kind of situation. All right, let's see. There it is. Okay. Like, there's that particular one. Okay, we'll just pop this little sucker up here. Kind of, I tried to, here, you know what, let's see if we can crop this a little bit better here. Oh yeah, so there were a bunch of them that were also like piano remixes. Like this one's the Nibeth theme, but it's reimagined as like a flute and piano cover. Yeah, per song. That's what I was saying. Like some of these, yeah, the chill remixes are stuff that, you know, you can tell right here. It's all the instruments that are involved. I love, by the way, that they're formatted in such a way that it's the actual thumbnail itself is like the Tor item icons. I don't know if that was. It feels honestly with Warren Report, I feel like it probably was intentional. But yeah, no, we're just gonna pop these up here. Yeah, no, they're like rounded off on the edges, just like the Tor icons. So either way, that's just kind of neat. But we're gonna put that sucker up there. And if it starts blocking stuff off or getting annoying, you know, let me know. We'll deal with that as it comes. So, yeah, we'll probably be spending most of the stream here today on this one particular map because everyone's accuracy is god-awful. They're doing 1 damage at a time. It takes like 360 stones to actually kill something in a lot of cases. Vice is considered acceptable because he's just going to run up and punch things, which is basically the same thing, but worse. So, okay, over here. A nice thing about having a guest character absorb all the damage, though, or rather, nice thing about just going and stripping all their equipment off is that they're just going to sit here absorbing everything. We can actually do dramatically more, by the way, just to cover some of the tech from last time. So most of the time, to get any decent damage coming off of throwing stones in this one, what you want to do is get somebody pinned up against a wall and kind of roll for knockback chance. So when you knock somebody backwards, they take an additional 10, which doesn't sound like much, but in this case, it is a 11-fold increase in damage, so that's fantastic. You know, with a little bit of a rough struggle busting time over here for these guys, but it does the job. For the most part, we're going to be collecting lots of physicals on the off chance that they are able to breach defenses with a stone. They can do some pretty solid stuff. In this particular case, the way that Tor handles stones and cards and things is that every one of those cards is going to increase their base attack power by 50. So effectively, they're going from negative to almost positive, so that's something. See, melee rock-only Vice always finds a way to lower the bar. I mean, yeah, I guess. But yeah, he's currently just going to be our little shield guy, I guess. Yeah, anytime that somebody can be knocked backwards, that extra 10 is going to give him a nice little whack. But the plan mostly is just to have our Knight sit and absorb most damage. Vice is going to also additionally help with that soakage. And then little by little, we'll continue moving forward. Last time I tried the approach of just isolating their leader, you know, eating up a lot of fizz cards and attempting to rush them with the hardest hitters. But simply put, it was not happening. Additionally, another little fun note, rocks cannot crit in this one. They are excluded from doing so, so that's cool. It's a little happy thing there. But yeah, we'll deal with that as it comes. Now, once we end up getting past this initial area, though, like this one is okay. Like this one is very stable on kind of the fact that we just win by attrition. It'll eventually happen. Down the road, though, that'll end up changing. All right, next one looks like we've got one of the Avila covers. Now, I don't know if that was, I don't know where, that feels like a cover for something else, I don't know. But yeah, basically, the two things that are going to upgrade numbers significantly over the course of this thing, A is going to be getting a hold of beast units, dragon units, that sort of thing. So heavies and juggernauts are the things that we're kind of aiming for. Juggernauts are basically just, they might as well just have a crossbow in their hand at all times. That's how good their the regular ranged boulders are. And then when it comes to the monster units, you know, they are monster units. In many ways, this kind of came from that from the request that came a few times from people to do monster only runs in this one. Where realistically, yeah, it mostly is just going to turn into just dragons sitting there doing dragon scale all the time, but if it's literally just throwing stone only, you know, things might get a little bit more interesting, so we've got that. We've got Canopus with the double stones at this point. He can almost somewhat be a threat. Look at that, double the damage that anybody else is doing. It's amazing. He can do 2s now. See, it's a shame not to show those cool illustrations. Yeah, I know, right? Like, I know, again, you know, it's something that a robot farted out, but still, it's neat. You know, occasionally you get something cool coming out of it. It sucks that somebody's, you know, friggin' lake probably got dried out as a result, but, you know, if it's there, I suppose it's there. Yeah, it's such a weird, like, conflicted going back and forth thing. It's like, this thing is cool, and also everything associated with it is an absolute apocalyptic nightmare. Holy fuck. But also... but also this drum has a sword, and that's kind of nifty. Yeah. What times we live in. But yeah, no. I'm sure there will be other cool things coming out as soon as the bubble eventually melts. But anyway, there we go. We got Basic Knight doing 2s at this point. It's exactly something. We're probably going to have to let Donalto get killed off pretty soon, because eventually he will decide to heal something, and that's just not allowed. In this particular case, it's not really changing the math very much, because, you know, it is what it is. So, yeah, like in most challenge runs, if it's weapon restricted or skill restricted or whatever else, it would be a case where it's like, you know, you get all the guests killed off as soon as possible so they don't invalidate your run or whatever else. But in this case, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to sit here stoning, you know, one of the more appreciated characters to death over the course of the next 3 hours. Let's see, I remember trying to use Octopi in my game and was utterly disappointed. Well, that's the thing. They oftentimes are a bit misunderstood, and that's what I'm hoping to get some use of this time, because the Octopi, more than likely, are going to be some of the first ones on the team. We'll see. Still deciding exactly how to route this, because we're not getting to Balmamosa for, you know, a while, but yeah, no, when it comes to the Octopi, they're going to be some of the most available monster units earlier on, because you get to the Zapan fight, you can get a couple of them right then and there. Going the other way, unfortunately, you don't have a whole lot in the way of options. You do get some, like you do have the dragons, I suppose. I guess really no matter what way, we're going to have some options, but when it comes to the Octopi, I really want those in particular, because I really want that accuracy drop. See, they're great at chucking rocks. I mean, they are great at chucking rocks. When it comes to rock damage, by the way, it's the same thing as the ranged formula. It's just like when we were doing the archer-only run. It's like, it's just a matter of if something's defenses are lowered or something, it's going to be dramatically better. Throwing rocks are specifically designed not to hurt things, even more so in this version. So, like I was talking about earlier, how since it was all stat-based back in the classic version, it basically did absolutely nothing. Well, or no, what am I saying? It actually did okay damage in that one. But then when it came to, when it came to the PSP version, you could cheese anatomy and levels to have brief moments where you got way ahead, and then the end was just super tedious. Whereas with this one, it's kind of a bit of a flip. Also, wait, when is this one? Oh, Timpanied Heartbeat. I think this is the a training montage music, or like the the intro montage music. Or no. No, that one bit of OB. I'm completely having a brain fart on that one. Well. But yeah, no, so as far as Octopi go, the reason that I would kind of want them over dragons is we'll eventually figure out the healing situation. Like, we're basically going to be sitting out healing stuff anyway, for the most part. Yeah, if that doesn't crit, I need her backing up. But yeah, no, the issue... What is this? It's not actually called Timpanied Heartbeat, is it? I feel like that's the remix's name. Now, it's used a few times in Locked, and then it's also the overworld music in March of the Black Queen. No. What am I talking about? It's not used in Locked. What the hell am I on about? Anyway. So yeah, once we get to monster units, though, we'll be doing a good bit more. Gonna be a bit like this for some time. The earliest that we can start getting additional units is largely from the Gamp fight. I don't think everything's going to line up, but there's a chance that we can get ourselves a few lizards at that point. A lot of these fights are going to kind of come down to recruiting enemy units as much as possible. So what I want to do right now is try and stun and sleep things as much as, again, humanly possible here. I need to get the caster out of the way here. With the idea being that the skeletons slowly get knocked back into something, get cornered, get beaten with rocks. They take their additional 10s. You get like 30-something knockbacks on them, and they're dead. You exercise them. That's the end of that story. So yeah. Now, as far as octopi go, going back to that particular thing, the reason that I feel like most folks end up feeling a bit disappointed by just kind of monster units in general is because they'll usually come under the assumption that everybody else gets all of the charms and equipment and whatever else. But nah, don't give them to the monster units. They have everything built in innately. They're not supposed to, but like, give them a few charms and they're insanely good. Especially when it comes to mind and stuff like Poison Rain on a high mind unit is just basically guaranteed poison in a huge area. Let's see. Will Terenius Lament of the Dead make rocks stronger? Yes, it will. That's another one of the steps that we'll be picking up along the way. So we've got Lament of the Dead, we've got Juggernauts, we've got Beast units, we've got a few tools that are going to be available. Unfortunately, you cannot recruit you cannot recruit Gamps units as of yet, except for the lizards, which is why that's going to be a maybe. It's kind of annoying to try and recruit that lizard. I've done it a few times, but you kind of got to work for it, is the annoying part. Alright, let's see. I know you brought it up, but I missed it. Will there be the dragon versions of throwing stones not be allowed? They are allowed. They basically will run off the same formula as everything else, so like they're still oftentimes going to bounce off of a lot of things. Not to mention their movement is pretty limited in this one, especially coming off of one vision. It's kind of wild to see that. I will probably limit them to some degree because I don't... Well, actually, it doesn't even make sense to necessarily limit them because they can't really overpower a lot of things in that particular state. But let's see. Yeah, at the very least, allowing empowered throwing rocks and stuff like that is for the purpose of making this not take absolutely forever, because just getting to Chapter 2 to get things like Juggernauts and Terenites and Beast units and things, just that alone is probably going to take several more streams. So there's that. Okay, next one here is going to be the training music from Night of Lotus, for anyone curious. Alright. Will you be able to clear this map by the end of the day with that damage? Yes. So, when it comes to throwing rocks, they actually do different... Yeah, hopefully we'll get lucky with one of these. Basically, what you're looking for is knockbacks. That's where you really get damage off these things. See, why is Denim set as Earth? I've never seen a reason to use Earth. I mean, there's a few reasons to use Earth, namely if you're fighting anything lightning, and also to resist certain elements, but also just because, dude, this is the throwing rock only run. The man has to represent his minerals, okay? Let's see, it'll be close. Let's see, do you plan on doing a Final Fantasy Tactics Iblis Chronicles stream with cool new mods? I did cover some of the mods earlier. I haven't seen... I'm sure there's new stuff that's coming out all the time. Sure. Whenever we know more of what those mods are, abso-freaking-lutely. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we are going to start moving towards the back here. So there you saw right there. That time they were able to do 20. So as soon as they're able to do a knockback, they will do an additional damage hit of 10 to 12 damage. So that tends to be how it happens. Okay, so we're going to... way. And by the way, can everyone hear the music okay? Since part of this is a music review stream here. Should we call this the Earthbender Challenge? No, this is the Rock Only and Rock Only run. Which, yeah, I did end up renaming it something different, but it is functionally speaking the Rock Only and Rock Only. But no, furthermore on this backstory, is that, like, this run has a story to it. Years ago, when not Evolus Chronicles, well, I guess technically also before Evolus Chronicles, but before Tactics Ogre Reborn even came out, I was talking with one of the folks that, there was, like, inside stuff there, I got to talk to a few people on account of getting early access, and so there was a question of like, hey, so there was this mention of rock only runs that had happened. Like, do you plan to do rock only for this one too at some point? Like, I promise I will at some point. And it took me forever, but we finally got there. So we got rock only and pacifist that are kind of the ones that I really want to do. I do want to somehow route out stubborn wretch at some point for this one, but it's possible for PSP. It's honestly kind of optimal for SNES or PS1. For Tor, I have not figured out a consistent way to do Stubborn Wretch yet. Like, for PSP, it's eventually possible. It just basically requires doing the entire thing absolutely perfectly and not getting anything wrong for, like, 50 straight hours. So there's that. Let's see, voice is a little low, but... music is a little low? Okay. We can turn that up. Oh, so we got Three Kings next. Alright, let me know if the music's good now. Yeah, some of these remixes are like absolute bangers, though. That's the thing. Actually, a good number of them are, to be honest. When I said on the post that I've been putting up, like that I've been sitting and listening to this on my drives and whatever else. Every time that I go out for doing gig work and what have you, I have this playing in the background lately. It's like this or audiobooks that Vale sent over. It's great. The music's good. Let's see, always bring the OV mod for TO. Do you have any recommendations for the GBA games, TO and FFTA? So for Night of Lotus, personally... Okay, this is going to sound dumb, but for the very first playthrough, play it absolutely vanilla, because it helps to appreciate the ton out of what the mods actually do for it. There's technically rebalanced, which makes it a bit more difficult. I don't know, I didn't really feel too much necessarily that different with that particular one. Like, I don't feel like it necessarily boosted up the original. Maybe there was a new version since I tried it last, but, like, I got about 3/4 of the way on that one, didn't really feel too much different. But when it came to Somebody to Love for that one, it was basically, like, if you've ever played Dark Souls 2 and you've played the New Game Plus of that one, that's what it felt like, and that was amazing to me. It just felt like, here's all the stuff that made sense to be here, but just wasn't. Like, more advanced units earlier on, and you can get a hold of them early on, which means that your routing is potentially more interesting. Like, there's a lot of really cool stuff that one ended up adding in, especially stuff like making better use of the set effects, because Night of Lotus had some really cool set effects in there. You had stuff like not even a set effect, like stuff like the dowsing rod, which you got pretty much immediately, which is a very useful tool, and technically you could get it off of quest mode, but also nobody got it off of quest mode, so for the most part it ends up being this kind of weird item that's relegated to nothing status, but you automatically get that practically at the start of the game. Gives you a reason to go do more treasure hunting. You get stuff like the candy set available dramatically earlier. You just get a lot more interesting things to play around with. So, either way, I really appreciated that, but, to everyone their own. I mean, Night of Lotus is pretty easy by default, I will say, but the problem with rebalancing that one in particular is actually pretty self-evident if you ever take a look at the tools that they use to mess with that one. It's a tool known as Nightmare Tools, and if you crack it open, you can... A lot of people, including myself, have had this idea of, I'm just going to go recreate all of the same stuff that One Vision did in Night of Lotus. This is going to be awesome. And then you get 2 weapons in and realize, oh, shit, there's, like, surprisingly little that's actually unique in this one. Like, there's very few weapon effects, very few effects in general. They just kind of use stuff in an interesting way that makes it feel like there's a lot more than what really is there. So, yeah, it's kind of an interesting one. Let's see. You still have to start Night of Lotus, also grinding SNES TO. Yeah, Night of Lotus is probably one of the chillest, I would say probably the chillest, like, mainline one to just run through. It's been one of those kind of comfort games for me since I was a little kid. Like, I mean, I've probably run through Lucked the most, just, on account of covering it so much, but when it comes to just a comfort game to just crack on and go through, Night of Lotus never fails, man. It's just the mood in it. Once you get into it, the mood is just so unique. It doesn't even necessarily have to be that difficult, and I think part of it is just the oppressive mood of the thing makes a lot of the areas that you know, you might repeat a couple of times, feel like they're going to be more difficult than they really are. Like, the first time I went through the Rana Sea fight, I remember being crazy difficult, and then went back multiple times, and it's just been a total cakewalk ever since. And all the same, it always feels like it's going to be more of a threat, you know? But yeah, no, it doesn't end up popping out. Also, there we go. Now we get a smooth jazz remix of The World of Today, one of the best themes from Ogre Battle 64. It's okay, well, it's a fun little game. Yeah, I really wish that they would do something more with that formula. Not necessarily asking directly for a remake. I'd love to see a remake, but just, like, bring back the emblem system. It's so cool. Like, why did that get thrown away? It's such a shame that it doesn't get used for more stuff. Let's see, I used to play when I was on the bus to work back when I was working in the city. Yeah, when I remember... Oh god, my GBA games, I used to go sneak that thing, and it's like, oh yeah, no, I just have to go to the bathroom during church. I'm not just bored out of my mind, and so I just, like, go to the back, just go play that thing. Like, oh yeah, no, I'm totally sleeping as I'm sitting there, you know, watching things that I definitely should not be watching that late at the end of the day, sitting there, going and grinding the river map over and over. Just going through the snacks that I snuck out of my dad's vending machine pile. We're liking this jazzy song. Yeah, no, so The World of Today is one of these it's like one of these very marchy, like, stuff's going to hell, but you're marching through it kind of themes from Ogre Battle 64. I mean, I have to say that the mid-game of OB64 just sticks out so much from a world-building perspective for this series, because it just feels like everything on the continent has gone to hell, but you're just kind of plowing through anyway, whatever happens kind of a feel. I love that. Like, seriously, OB64's mood is just top-notch. It's so good. But anyways, yeah, no, so this is like a jazzy remix of that one, which is pretty cozy. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted to bring attention to these remixes that he did, because, yeah, sure, again, like, I want to keep throwing this disclaimer out here before somebody goes on yet another tirade, because I got another bunch of messages on those. But, like, yeah, this is one of those cases where the tools are being used in the way that they ought to be used for a creative purpose, where it's like emulating a crap ton of different styles. They've got some of these that are heavy metal, some of these that are, standard workout mixes, some of these that are classic rock, some of these are jazz, some of them are operatic. And it avoids the usual repetition and whatever else. Like, there's basically only one other channel that I find that I mostly just have because it's honestly just funny to me, which is just a bunch of just like 80s rock hair metal type of stuff, but it's just super dirty songs. Like, what makes a glory hole a glory hole? It's just, oh man, my brother and I were sharing that crap back and forth. It's like, it sucks again that some small town got annihilated for this, but that's just funny. I'm sorry, but anyway, anyway. So yeah, no. Again, repercussions are always awful, but when it comes to creating stuff that is, otherwise impossible, those are one of those cases where I'm willing to look the other way on it. And in this case, like, this is a whole lot of different styles, a whole lot of different covers, and for this series, I have seen only one cover of the series ever, and I listen to a ton of people that do covers. I typically will message whenever they're asking for additional suggestions or whatever else. And it's just the series never gets covers is the kind of frustrating part. And the only cover that I heard was, I think it was like Billy Mills or something that did, I think it was the name. I might be remembering that wrong. But they did, what is it? The battle theme from OB64. Anyway, there we go. Throw more rocks and Mr. Laurentius over there. And to again throw out this little disclaimer here, we're not picking up the crit cards because the stones cannot crit in this one. Alright, let's see. My only gripe with the emblem system is I can never get the multiplayer emblems. Also would laugh at accidentally getting the Don Quixote emblem on accident. Oh, I did, man. I did that on a couple units growing up. I love the fact that they had what is officially Mark of the Dumbass. It's so great. It's like, here you go. You've permanently affixed your favorite units with a sign that you are just dumb. You're welcome. And it's going to take a miracle, literally, to make them able to crit again. It's so... Oh, it's delightfully cruel, you know? It's great. See, a convenient excuse to dust off that piano. Yeah, my daughter recently was thinking about learning piano. It's like, I haven't played that in over a decade, but, you know, maybe we'd learn some stuff here. Like, hell, I've tried breaking out the old violin to try and do some covers myself, and didn't go well. The strings broke because it was so long since I'd last played it. Yeah, believe it or not, I used to be an all-state violinist at one point. Anyway, so let's see here. Oh yeah, so as far as the emblems go, the multiplayer emblems are actually gettable in what is it? Somebody to Love. Like, that's one of those reasons that I love that mod, because it basically felt like, for the people that had played it growing up, it was such a good excuse to go back and just like relive all these old things. Like the set effects that you couldn't get, you could get. There were a lot of unique weapons, or weapons you probably never saw your first time through, that suddenly were available. You know, you had a lot of cases where you had, like, you know, again, stuff like the chocolate set, which had no reason to be used, and now, due to the fact that it's a relatively low power set, you can actually get it pretty early. So that's pretty cozy there. So yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I would definitely highly recommend it. I mean, honestly, even if it's a first playthrough, you might still find it pretty interesting. Just know that it's definitely a lot harder than the game was originally designed for, so, you know, it may be a bit difficult there. Alright, next we have the March of the Black Queen entrance parade. Like this one. This wasn't the one that I was talking about earlier as far as jazzy remixes go, but I love me a good jazzy remix. But, like, you see what I mean about, like, they're not just repeating. It feels like this stuff was actually composed. Like, it wasn't the usual, like, haha, I did a thing, the meme is complete, put it on loop, and we're good, kind of situation. Like, it feels like there's actual, you know, riffs and differences and other stuff going on, so I appreciate that, you know. It's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. So there's that. The Water Valk on Formido is funnier, is fun for no shop runs. Yeah, I can believe that. Dang the fat fingers. Well, you know, maybe it helps you play a violin. Get some more of those covers going. You never understood the chocolate set. 3 pieces available at the first chapter, second chapter, and then the third piece is right at the last part of the game. Yeah, it's weird. And that's why I appreciate that they just make it available way earlier. Because you can practically get the entire set. Like, I think you get the last piece of the chocolate set. I think Labina or something carries it. So not only does that make a lot more sense than her carrying, you know, friggin' ice chain. Why is that a thing? But it also just, you know, it means that you're actually using this thing that you otherwise would never ever use, because what's the point? Stuff like the Sherwood set was pretty decently implemented in the other one. It's just nobody used archers, so it's kind of whatever. But archers... Oh yeah, that was the other thing that Somebody to Love did. They gave them a lot of cool class bonuses. So, like, archers had innate bonuses versus monster units and stuff like that. So, like, they were good at... As a result, they were good at shooting down winged units, which makes sense. You know, add a little bit of Fire Emblem flavor in that mess. You had stuff like... you had... what's it? Well, the Dragoon one was obvious. You had... what the hell was it that soldiers got? I think soldiers just had a... It's a better experience or something? They got... I forget off the top of my head. I don't know. I did a video covering it ages ago, but, like, that's the thing with covering all these different mods and versions and whatever else. Everything just gets mixed up. But point is, they added a bigger emphasis on the existing system where certain classes just respect each other's ranks, and so that stuck out a good bit more. There was more interaction between those. Emblems in general there were a few that were given more ways to be acquired. And yeah, there actually were some unique classes that were thrown in there, like a Lord variant for Alphonse, a sort of a High Priest version that he could learn as well, so that if you didn't have Richter, you could still use your laser squirrels and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in that one. See, the archers mean, so that's good flavor, yeah. Oh, wait, hold on, wait. They're basically hunters if memory serves. Let's see, no archers existed, they were just hawk only. Yeah, pretty much. That's fair. Yeah, for anyone that's never played Knight of Lotus, the archers are very literally a downgrade from your basic class, and it's due to the sort of rubber banding system that goes on there, in which if you, let's say you have a class that's specialized in a weapon, they get a very small bonus for using that weapon. And in theory, if they are specialized, it's supposed to make up for maybe a detriment elsewhere, what they were trying to do was make it so that the archer, or rather, what they seemingly were trying to do, was to make it so that the archer was only good at using the bow and crossbow. However, there is no specialization for using the crossbow, even though it says that they have one. So instead, everybody's kind of good with the crossbow, but not really. Crossbows just have good minimum damage. But when it comes to archers, they have a permanent negative 10% on their damage. They actually, you have your basic soldier coming in at just kind of standard everything damage, but like let's say you go to a fairy, and I think they had something like 70% of like a 0.70 modifier on all attacks or something like that. So that's why it seemed like their magic missiles and stuff were really good, but when it came to their physical hits, they were pretty garbage. Like, if anyone here happens to see the Mosquito run back in the day, that's why you could, for example, give a fairy 2 Snapdragons and max stats, and they're still only, dealing double digits to the final boss. It's kind of wild. But yeah, there were a lot of these, like, little mini mechanics in there, but that rubber banding system made it so that archers functionally traded something like, I think it was like, theoretically +4 damage or something like that on when using a bow, or a total loss of 10% damage, which is consistently going to scale worse and worse and worse as the game goes on. So they start off bad and they get worse. They've got pretty much bad everything across the board. They take higher damage, they deal lower damage. And then when it comes to speed, everybody's already even anyway, so it's hardly a factor. And then, yeah, when it comes to movement, they've got good movement, but then you've got the ninja, who does not suffer the same penalty, has better speed than they do, has more options than they do, also specializes in melee weapons, so they not only are better archers across the board in general, their requirements are basically the same. Like, it's a very strange one balance-wise. But yeah, no, their requirements, I think, are literally just like, they get an additional strength bonus that everybody already meets by the time they get the other stats, so it doesn't really do anything. It's kind of a wild one as far as balancing goes, so kind of neat stuff. Oh, I think this was the one. Oh, no, this was the OB64 cover of Revolt. Oh, it's good stuff. I like it. I like it a lot. Take a nap, please. Thank you kindly. Good cover goodness. Alright. Shove some... Actually, no. A little bit more healing. Yeah, this beginning part's going to be super tedious until we can actually get some stuff to play around with. So, at this point, we are a little bit locked as far as what we can realistically do to increase our numbers. After this point, though, that's when they start taking it a bit easier on you, because they wanted to give everyone a bit of an easier path to go deal with Naibath. So, as a result, we have a situation where you're allowed to over-level temporarily, and then that kind of fades off towards the end of Chapter 2. Now, good part about this is that it's done in such a way that this would give us a at least temporary edge. Once we get to Balmamos and stuff like that, it's all mostly a downhill fight. So after that point, like, the downhill part's pretty easy because everyone just can keep getting knockbacks. Additionally, once we start getting towards Chapter 2 there, as soon as we have access to the Codex of Gems, that gives access to the Luck Ring, which should potentially increase everyone's damage quite substantially, but either way. Because, yeah, the knockback chance on your throwing stones, I believe, is affected by luck. It is basically like a separate luck roll, as I understand it. I'm not sure if that was ever data mined or anything, but that seems to be how it works. Highest streamer first playthrough? Oh, yeah, clearly, absolutely, obviously. I just happen to intuit all these things just by looking at it. Funny. Let's see. Do we even know if weapon specialization affects damage or accuracy yet? That's the thing. I talked with the guy who did a lot of the modding and found a lot of the discoveries for Night of Lotus, that's a long story. Long story they asked me not to share, but anyway, as far as all that goes, yeah, they don't know. They do not. Strangely enough, like, it's jury's out whether specialization does anything. I think it's the same as weapon specialization in SNES, because they did copy a lot of things from SNES. in which case it would be roughly 4 damage of a difference. Like just like a base 4 damage. Like that's basically what they did for that one. It was like +4 if you match an element and if you match the right weapon. Boy howdy, what an amazing bonus. Like, so glad that we specialize in that, you know? So, that's always fun. Alright. Over here, see if we can block some of these skellies. If Donalto ends up getting himself got, whatever. He's just kind of here for the moment. Yeah, current plan, we take out the ghosts first, because they are the squishiest. We're able to at least do something to them. That's something, like, if we're able to do anything above a 1, we'll go ahead and take that. So mostly it's Canopus pelting one of them down. Everybody else is just kind of holding the line for now. That lowers their overall DPS pretty significantly, which then allows for going and getting some of the human units knocked down through knockbacks. From then we spam recruit as much as possible. If they're able to be recruited before their timer runs out, great. If not, then they're just going to be finished off, at which point then that gives a lot more rocks to then kind of go forward. The remaining skeletons can probably be ignored. At that point, we have all of the rocks that we need to go forward, and then potentially deal with our friend who's currently hiding on the other side of the map. Because, yeah, last time I decided to do this a bit of a different way and attempted to just immediately rush her with the hardest hitting characters, maxing out on cards, and it just simply wasn't enough. Even Canopus over here is still only doing 3s. So the best way to do it is to surround her, use knockback damage, and to do that, we need to make the situation a bit more stable. Go ahead and do one of those. You'll also notice that due to the kind of chaoticness of the ranged formula, they're potentially going... they're significantly deviating from their predicted damage numbers in a lot of cases, so that's also another fun to deal with. Another fun thing to deal with, where like it's saying he's going to hit a 21, and instead he hits 15. So like melee damage may go up maybe like 3 or 4 points. When it comes to ranged, it's just kind of whatever it feels like. Because yeah, it's basically chaos damage. Okay. And heal Mr. Donalto a little bit more. Sir, have you tried not sucking so hard? Thank you. Okay. Well, at least we got Fire Bow Swordmaster Hobram with basically nothing lost in SNES. Yeah. Dude, SNES Hobram was hilarious. There you go, we created this character. He just wins fights by deleting half the map for you. We're just not going to mention him very much, though. Who is he? Oh, he's just some random blind guy. There are shield bashes into walls allowed? No. Stone bashes into walls are allowed. They're just less likely to happen. And that's mostly because shields can actually do pretty solid damage because they use the melee formula. So if you go full physical, you just ram stuff into walls, you can actually do pretty solid numbers. Shield only is basically just a standard run, but slower. This rock thing is a combination of just a harder version of Archer only, which I had to kind of cancel on account of that save being accidentally deleted. Well, I knew that it was possible that it would get deleted, but it still got accidentally deleted, which was a bit of a bummer because I was hoping to go and back that up. But, you know, joys of changing places and stuff. It's that and be life in a nutshell sometimes. Alright, anyway. But, yeah, so I figured rather than dealing with all of that, the easier way would just be to go start a more interesting thing over here. We've got this. Alright. But yeah, that's why the last episode of Bow Only was like, yeah, there's a pretty decent chance this is probably the last one of this particular save. Fun note, by the way, if you delete a profile at any point on a Sony account, all those saves go poof. So yeah. It's good coffee. Don't think Denim can reach on. We'll just go ahead and grab this one. She can continue doing what she's doing. And by the way, another little thing to just kind of throw out here. The reason that I'm randomly picking up cards that we don't really need is to try and spawn more cards elsewhere. The rip, that was a cool run. I mean, we'll probably end up doing more of that at some point. Again, I was planning to continue that particular save file. I just never got a chance to back it up. Yeah, that goes into personal drama territory. See, probably favorite theme in the series right here now. I swear I had an unfinished arrangement of this. Yeah, Fortune Teller 2. Yeah. Like, there has not been a bad Fortune Teller theme in the entire series, to be fair. Yeah, this one's solid. I mean, personally, my favorite, and this is just pure nostalgia talking, honestly, was the one from Night of Lotus. So, crap, I just noticed I don't have... Well, I think Pebble Bow is toast, then. Did not heal her on time. Whoopsie. Okay. That's a problem, but we continue on. We might have a few casualties early on, but plus side of not having to worry about weapons is that units are very viable. Finish that if you find it? Yes, absolutely, and like let me know. I'll boost it as much as I can. It's not really the whole lot of us covering this series, so gotta stick together and stuff. Rip indeed. That's a shame. It's okay. Pebble Boa will be revenged eventually. I'll kind of want to go save Mr. Donalto here. Thankfully, his AI is such that he should hopefully not try to heal anything. And if... Yeah, I could absolutely do a cover of this. I'm really tempted to do a cover of this. You know what? There goes our cleric, too. Well, hopefully we didn't need them. Yeah, the more that I think about it, Fortune Teller absolutely could do a cover of that one. It's like, it's simple enough that it's really mostly vibrato, and that I can work with. Oh, right, that's the problem we're running into. Got more magic ups coming up on the ghosts. Alrighty. Actually, a little bit of a side note. So, okay, when it comes to remixes, covers, whatever else, I guess, you know, remakes as far as tour goes, weird little bit of a thought that came to mind here. So you play an instrument? Yeah, man, I used to be a all-state violinist. But I play some piano, was trained to do it. I just didn't really like the piano. And then I technically play violin, had a pretty decent talent for it, was totally burned out by it's a bit of a long story growing up, but yeah, see that I thought wait. Yeah, that I thought before my life took a bit of a chaos route. Yeah, it's... Life has a way to do that. Like, actually, I guess the whole violin story is probably a good example of the same. So, like, when I was growing up, right? You know, like most little kiddos, didn't really think too much about my whole situation there. And so I was constantly put into, like, into an opera house, into choir, sang in the church choir, was always put into music. My dad is, well, I say was a composer, but he still is, you know, a musician overseas. My mom was much the same, and she's somebody that is not a good person. Honestly, the best simile, the best kind of just immediate frame of reference, you know, a certain friggin' orange guy causing problems all over the world right now. Basically, imagine that, but like an old Eastern European lady, okay? Like, it was the same thing of just, like, constantly lying, gaslighting people, causing problems everywhere they went. They would build something up that is genuinely impressive only to immediately tear it down just to claim that they could redo it better. It was never-ending chaos and whatever else. But, you know, growing up, little kiddo, you don't really worry too much about that kind of stuff. And so it was a case where I was constantly put into music to essentially unknowingly attempt to get them to vicariously relive that music career that they didn't get to do anymore. Anyways, after a while of this, though, I end up seeing a classmate playing a violin. I was like, hey, that's a pretty cool instrument. And so, anyways, pretty much immediately, my dad steps in. He's like, "Hey, I used to play cello. Like, I could teach you." Like, okay, this sounds awesome. It can maybe go, I guess, be a violinist or whatever now. That's a pretty cool instrument. And funnily enough, one of the things that I repeatedly kept doing at the time was learning to play the intro theme to Metal Gear Solid 2. Like, I kept going and playing it over and over, and I got pretty decent at hearing a theme and immediately covering it, So anyways, once all this was said and done, this goes on for a little bit of a while. Turns out I have kind of a knack for the instrument. Ends up at a situation where I end up trying out for the All-State Youth Orchestra. Oh, well, I guess the night just died. And yeah, end up actually doing really well, like to the point that my teacher was celebrating outside the door and everything. It was one of those like really proud moments growing up. But then I get there, my mom ends up drunk when I'm supposed to be going and practicing for this orchestra thing. So I'm at this hotel in the middle of nowhere. My brother's doing his best to try and get me where I need to go, but he's out of his depth. He's a teenager himself. He doesn't know what's going on, trying to cover for, drunken mother and whatever else. So ultimately end up doing really well to tryouts, poorly when I get there. This ends up going down a whole long rabbit hole that goes in a bunch of different directions, but eventually she tries throwing me into the San Francisco Youth Orchestra on the totally opposite side of the country, out of the blue. I shit you not. So, like, I'm shipped all the way across the country on, like, no sleep for, like, 48 hours, given my first coffee as I'm going to this thing, so my fingers are shaking. I haven't practiced. I have no idea what on earth is going on or what the significance is of even trying out for this thing. And yeah, it ends up going horrendously. End up being made to feel awful about it for just forever. So, long story short, it burned me out of violin once all was said and done. Like that experience definitely puts a kind of a nail into that particular coffin. So yeah, fun times. Anyway, let's see. Cello's my favorite instrument. Yeah, it's a really fun one. It's a really cool one. Sorry, Pepper Boa. Hopefully this will go poorly enough that I have to reload, actually. But at least that one ghost is down, which kind of helps. I mean, at this point, I suppose we might as well just go for the bum rush, because, like... Oh, and you're just going to steal our stuff? Okay, fine. Fine, you do that. By the way, this is the cover of the final boss theme from Night of Lotus. Solid stuff. Let's see. Cool violin is a beautiful instrument. Can be sorrowful, but also very fiery and vibrant. Yeah, it's a very fun one to go and play, though, because you can get extremely expressive with it. So if you happen to be, somebody that's prone to going into just sudden, very energetic fits about stuff, it is exactly the instrument for you. Yo-Yo Ma, yep. There's a name I haven't heard in a very long time. But yeah. No, seriously, last time I heard about him was this documentary I was watching in, like, the 90s. Man, that's been a while. Alright, we're just gonna attempt to go straight for the end here, because I don't... Like, I basically need to be walking towards the middle to convince Donalto to try and exercise that ghost, which was the entire purpose of sacrificing those 3 units over there. So, if he goes for it, great, but he also might just suddenly decide not to, like he is right now. So, why'd he do that? Why did you do that for everything to end up like this? Yeah, apparently for no reason. Sorry about that. Anyway. Alright. Yeah, Beautiful Flayer, yeah. Some great music. Definitely. Stuff. Let's see. Well, at least he tried. Should totally chip out of while his stuff got the drive. Could be something new. But I've been thinking about it. I had actually, that's why I said earlier, I whipped out the thing a little bit ago to try and see where it goes and try to teach my daughter to play it, because I actually still have my old little training violin, and I know she's probably got the knack for all the stuff as well, but the strings broke on that one, and I was looking at the price of strings at my local store, and like, this is gonna wait until stuff's a little bit more stable. Oh, hey, we have one of the best themes from Night of Lotus here. We've got the Angel's Headstone. Man. Yeah, it's funny how KOL starts with some pretty god-awful intro music, and then genuinely has some of the coolest themes in the series once you get to the end of it. famous cello players are rare. Yep, genuinely outside of Yo-Yo Ma, I cannot name one. Also, by the way, speaking of weird childhood memories, one of the weirdest ones just came to mind. So there was this time when I was talking about how... So I was talking with my PE teacher, right? And this is like... I was like a little kid at the time, okay? And so we were talking about violin and, you know, how it's an instrument that you don't hear about that often. I'm like, oh, you know, I can't really think of too many people that are famous with a violin. I can't really think of any. It's like, oh no, there's, you know, it's something that gets celebrated every now and then. I guess she thought that fame was the thing I was interested in. Mostly I was just stating that I haven't really heard of too many violinists. I thought it was super rare. And so she's like, oh, you know, they even made this movie about it. Can anybody remember a movie from around that time that might have potentially been about a violin? Yeah, The Red Violin. If anyone's never seen it, there is a scene in it of two people getting down to business while he's going and playing a solo. Only for them to walk in. Their wife walks in on apparently they were cheating. They get shot while holding the violin, which explains why it was damaged. Yeah. We're talking like full nudity. They're completely getting down to business. Way to recommend that to a 10-year-old PE teacher. Anyway, let's see. I'm sure whichever kid got the chair also had some trauma lore. There's also so much pressure on child prodigies. How much are strings? I remember at the time it was like $20 a string, and it was just like, yeah, this is replacing all these strings is going to be a bit of a pretty penny. I'm just going to come back later. Realistically, I can probably find them for cheaper on Amazon. But I should probably also mention this was also in the middle of like pinching every single penny, making backup plans on backup plans on backup plans to like move out of the old house. It was the whole thing with the ex and whatever else, and rediscovering herself after 10 years. It was a long story. It's like one of these cases where you look back and you should have seen it coming, but you know, such is life. Anyway, yeah, what's life without a little trauma? Yeah. As far as you know, child prodigies and whatever else, I remember the youth I remember the youth orchestra and stuff like that. So this was in Sarasota, if anyone's ever lived in Florida. But like you know how there's that old joke of like, no matter how good you are, there's an Asian kid somewhere that's better than you, and that was a joke my brother used to tell me all the time growing up, right? And so it was this funny case where I'm like, oh, you know, he's just trying to tell a weird joke, and then I get to the orchestra and it's just like, I'm really sticking out here as far as you know, a lot of the folks are coming from the same background of like generational violinists that like came from like China or Korea or whatever else, and like have ridiculously strict parents, and they're like, oh, you don't even talk to anybody else. Like, you try to talk to somebody asking, you know, what page you're on, and they just give you the most robotic stare you've ever seen. And they're like, as soon as the violin comes up, it's like, holy shit, this is the best playing I've ever heard ever. Yeah, really does something to that motivation for sure. All right, let's see. Any other ways to support other than Patreon? I always forget to unsub. I mean, people have told me to do one of these coffee things for a while because it's more thematically fitting. But yeah, I mean, that's typically how it goes. What's preferred, I guess. I just left the Patreon thing up because it seems to be the standard one, but I guess anything helps. Let's see, fair. At least learning the basics and sheet reading is free, while my experience over bonding over music are still bittersweet retroactively. Can still attest to it being a fun time. Yeah, same. Like, honestly, going and just figuring out how to play themes that I liked was a absolute ton of fun. But yeah, thinking back on the actual training thing, I really got along with most of my teachers. That part was awesome. But the whole being pressured into like playing at churches, playing at concerts, playing at whatever else, didn't understand it at the time. I thought it was just these are all exercises to make you better kind of thing. Yeah, I found out later it was just a way for one of my parents to just collect money. So there was that. That'll happen. It'll happen. Oh yeah. Life is life like that. At least we're starting to put some numbers on this one while the ghosts slowly approach. Alright. But yeah, no, so, okay. So going back to the previous thing on what to put up where or whatever else, which, by the way, I just noticed I forgot to turn Discord off in the background. Sorry for the noise. My bad. There we go. But yeah, no, what kind of stuff is preferred there? Like, is there anything that sticks out for you guys as far as, like, it's like anything that's easier to use or that's just, I guess, more useful in general? I literally just use it because it's the standard one, and that's about it. Alright. So I think this particular one, I think, is the lucked version of this one. Yeah, I think there's only been a couple of things in this entire remix pile that I haven't really, like, immediately wanted to replay. Do you use what? Oh, I mean, like, as far as the whole support thing, as you were asking. Like, I don't know what the actual difference is between something like, you know, coffee or Ko-Fi. I hear people pronounce it both ways. It's clearly supposed to be coffee, but some people pronounce it Ko-Fi. Anyways, between like that and Patreon or whatever else, and or the YouTube standard offering thing, I have no idea. Also, the creepy music from Night of Lotus next. Got the cool little hell portal situation going on there. Alright. Tenuan with 3 damage at a time. Actually, if I recall correctly, right, that was the soft lock last time. Because they have a way to heal. Hold on. My force got whop. No, they don't. How did they heal last time? There's some way that they healed. Maybe I'm mistaken. Oh, not familiar? Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought there was some, like, something or other about those that I don't know. The one-time supports versus subs, I think YouTube takes a bigger cut. Alright. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know on the user end if there's anything different, so if anything's preferred, do let me know. For the Knight out here to try and bait some attacks out. It seems like she's consistently going to go after the Valkyr. Thinking maybe if I put her towards the back, it might be possible to bait them backwards. Sure. I think what we ran into last time was a crit spamming ghost, which we don't have that this time. 3 at a time is still not great. It's still going to take over 120 rocks from our best guy to actually do anything, but technically better than nothing. A little bit risky with the Knight on 2/3 over there, though. This way, that should still be within attack range. I think we might have to stick with dedicated Canopus-on attacking here. Yeah, we can consider getting into game design in a professional capacity, looking at the industry right now. I tried multiple times. I have no clue how to... which direction to go on that one. So, I tried doing some coding boot camps and stuff like that. Got partway through, and it was typically the same thing of just running out of time, running into some kind of financial crisis or other. Lots of little asterisks on that particular thing, but that's typically what it ran into. So I tried it that way. It seems like there's, like, folks doing that are about a dime a dozen. At least as far as I've seen, anyway. As far as the more QA testing side of things, talked with devs directly. Occasionally, people throw out, a small project here or there. But for the most part, it seems like that one's also you know, typically pretty full, for lack of a better way to put it. But yeah, no, if there was a way that I was missing, which I'm sure there is, certainly would have been nice. Actually, I went to my high school courses were on game design, which is partially what got me into doing this whole channel, because I just kind of wanted to still keep talking about this stuff. Occasionally the kiddos get a bit annoyed because they'll be trying to play a game like, here you go, here's how all this works and how this works and how this works. Like, Dad, you're gonna make me not like this random, like, trash phone game. Like, yeah, that's kind of the point. Like, every random ad that comes along, the kiddos will go and download the thing immediately. Like, oh, this thing looks so cool. Look, they said it was very fun. They were screaming about how it was so hard, and then they like play and like, this wasn't hard at all. Also, it keeps asking me for money. Can I have some money? No. Yeah, them things are predatory as hell. Oh, there we go. We get the starting one of the locked one. Yeah, a little bit of a side note. Ah, crap, just lost the Valkyrie. I meant to actually message Warren about this, but it kind of weirdly weirds me out. The latest one that he put out, how he has the like the Lady Valkyrie and the Guy Valkyrie's getup. Like, I keep getting confused as far as whether that's intended as a, you know, maybe they just preferred the one with sleeves now that they were working out for some reason, or if or, you know, if maybe they were just trying to fill out some details, and I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's probably on account of the fact that they were doing the whole, like, weight bench thing, so you probably didn't want to get, you know, accidentally dirty with it. But it's just like, I don't know, it just weirds me out every time I look at it. Let's see, well, not necessarily coding. Sure, it's a useful skill in that, but I was meaning more on the design part on a dev team instead of a more coding heavy position. I mean, that's kind of what this is to an extent, because a lot of times there will be devs that reach out and just kind of ask for feedback on stuff, and then I ask if I can make a video on it, and they're like, okay, sure, and then I get paid a tiny amount. And then it'll make like $20 a month, like, or not a month, but like a year later. Alright, let's see here. Alright. One quick moment. Also, thank you. Let's see. Thank you, Angus. Just got the notice on there. Appreciate it. Seriously, thank you. Sorry, just looked at my phone a moment ago here. Didn't realize how long we'd been going on about this whole thing here. A bit of a reminder to go put some stuff away in a bit. All right. Okay, know what we need to do to improve the situation. Now, I know, that's a whole lot of progress just suddenly, instantly vaporized, but know what we need to do. Alright. So, we know what we need, we know what we don't need. First things first. We need only knights for this thing. We need only knights. Okay. We only have... I don't think we have access to night marks yet. Need a couple of revive items, so let's go ahead and sell some stuff here. So you should have done a lot of this beforehand, but sometimes brain no brain so good. Alright. Let's see, we got poison. Poison's not allowed, charm is not allowed, sleep and paralysis are fine. double check this. Yeah, no speed bonus here. However, in still light would be useful. Would be useful if anyone was running dark. Ironically, by being weak to dark, we could be stronger to dark here. Since you like allowing yourself to be weak allows the full shield bonus to trigger, which means that you end up being more resistant to it. Oh, hang on, let's see. Like one could make a GDD, game design document, with only a rough understanding of the underlying logic of the systems, which programmers take care of when coding wholesale. I mean, I could look into that, sure. Have ideas pretty regularly. Does sound like testing as an occasional gig. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. That's again basically what this channel is all about in many ways. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I just like talking about design and whatever else, and then every now and then, get a few things here and there. Okay. 2 more revives, and specifically, let's get some spoil spell going. I think it was spoil spell. That's the damage one. So rarely use these. Okay. Yeah, I think the last time I actually used one of these was back during the Nothing Burger challenge. Okay. Now that we're exactly empty on cash. Right, I was going to do a training fight, but they can't actually pass a training fight in their current condition. Right. It's all coming back to me now. Okay. You. For that staff, replace it with a shield. I really should... Yeah, they don't actually get their weapon bonus when they're using a throwing rock, I don't believe. Get rid of that. Get a defender ring. Get a defender. We'll get a defender ring. While the parry on the dagger is great, put that aside for now. Defender ring. Offender ring. Probably take this hand axe out of the equation. Speed him up a little bit. We can probably give Vice's equipment back since he's unarmed anyway. Stuff back. Any of that's useful. Pincer. I don't think Pincer triggers with unarmed, though. Giving her the stick. Okay. She only has exorcism. That was her entire point of being here. Alright. Can't hear the title of the piece of the song, but there's a POTD song I love so much. There's a cool Famicom music mod for Reborn. Places the music with the Famicom sound font. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out at some point. I didn't really... Actually, wait a minute. I thought they meant that they changed the placement of the songs to be the same ones from the original version, not actually replace it with those songs. Neat. Right, I will check that out in a bit. How was I doing here again? Buckler, right. So we need a buckler on... It's not actually the one that needs a buckler. You need a buckler. Yeah, funnily enough, the most useful thing that we're going to be getting out of a lot of this right now is that getting access to heavier units allows us to make use of training mode. Now we can't. That's fun. So you came for good music, sir? Well, thank you for making it. And yeah, for anyone curious right now, this is World of the People, or rather World for the People, from OB64. But yeah, as far as that one POTD song, I'm gonna assume it's like 90% Song of Phantom for that one. That or Showdown if it's the last fight. And then you had a few that were just kind of around in general before then. This one's apparently called Rauf. Alrighty then. It is the theme of Good Boy. Alright, let's put here. Oh! Okay, it's the fighting against the boss music. We'll give the Valk some of this stuff here as well, because they're more likely to be everywhere. Derek's probably staying busy. Yeah, Dodge is probably going to do more for us than Parry in this instance. Give a few breaches to you so you have something more offensive to do later. Yeah, after doing this bit, it's going to give us a shop upgrade, which is going to be pretty notable. Yeah, remember these area ion plumes being basically worthless last time? But just in case, we're going to leave them here. If anybody's got any additional slots, we will deal. Okay. You see, yeah, maybe look at any dedicated game design course online, and with some of that experience displayed on the channel as part of the portfolio, maybe that could be a shot. I mean, possibly. Definitely would be quite nifty if that worked. Give it a shot. I mean, as far as design is concerned, I mean, I thought I applied to a decent number of them, but worth taking another peek. Was kind of that quiet voice in the back of the head of being like someone like, no, they're just reliving the old days. That's not design. Alright, anyway, okay, this should hopefully go a little better. I could probably replace this axe skill, though. Probably should replace this with swords, because that's mostly what he's getting hit with. Alright. This. See, a ton of salt, stuff's not easy, but what is really... Yeah, I mean, as of tomorrow, I'm hoping to start working in customer service again. So there's that. Which, I mean, yeah, is also similar to this. Sit on a headset and talk about people's problems. Okay. Let's see, that's a different mod. Yes, Warren, this music enjoyable. See? That's what I mean. There was, like, whenever there were all those messages that were coming in, they were just like, oh, you know, it's more robot stuff. Like, technically, yes, but, like, also... You know, the same rock that breaks the store window is also potentially the same rock that builds a house. You know, occasionally you get something that can be good in both directions. You know, there's the exception every now and then. Oh, there we go. We get the locked version of Limitation next. This is probably one of my favorite random album arts, by the way. It's just like a half eclipse going on. Like a bunch of random like spears and shit sticking out of a castle with a line of drums. Oh man, it's just delightfully random. Good stuff. It's like Limitation never doesn't slap is the great part. Alright. We're going to attempt to employ that same plan as before, a bit better this time. This time without Vice going down, it should hopefully prevent that whole cascade from last time. See if we get a good dice roll on this ghost over here, too. Yeah, I couldn't even tell you how many times, Battle Challenge was it? I forget if it was no movement or one of the other ones that I kept re-rolling for stats on a couple of particular units. Just to finally be able to get through the thing. Alright. Actually, I think that was level 1 that I'm thinking of. But yeah, level 1 is still currently stuck in the woods. Like, surprisingly, that one got held up by like a year and a half on account of the fact that if you install one of the mods, if you don't delete certain files, it doesn't actually get rid of the mod. So that was a fun little discovery. But yeah, that one will continue at some point. Mm-hmm. I think also one of the other things I probably should have done is gotten all the cards to spawn on the bottom right there to try and manipulate that out of the way. Doing decent. See if the other ghost is about the same. Fortunately, because it's not one vision, we don't have spell dodge, so that's a bummer. Yeah, Ward really helped out a lot in that one. Down the line, I mean, yeah, probably. Yeah, that situation's so weird. Like, when I was going and setting my computer up, I dual boot the Steam Deck into a PC for the customer service gig, and so when doing that, I was looking into just getting a SD card. It's like when I was going and setting it up for the Outer Worlds 2 reviews and stuff like that, which I personally still adore that game. It's such a shame that it didn't sell better. But like when I set it up, it still took most of the space on that SD card because I just figured, oh, you know, friggin' 128, it'll be enough for one game. It's like, oh, it's barely enough for one game. That's that's kind of crazy. You can fit the OS, the game, and like 500 megabytes left over. Anyway, so yeah, I was looking into a bigger size for the dual boot, and it's just like friggin' $40 to get another like 512 or something. Like, is depressing. Same thing that gave us the cool music in the background, I guess, technically. I feel like Warren Report probably would have found another way to do it if the tools didn't exist, but, like, just the same stuff that did that also made memory prices go completely into the toilet. Because the card that I'm using on this thing right now was, like, $26, and now it's potentially more than double. That's neat. You know, fun sign of the times and stuff. Here's hoping at some point stuff will get a bit corrected. Certainly an interesting place right now. Basically, if we get the ghost down, either of the ghosts go down, don't lose all our exorcists. That prevents them from chasing down later, because part of the reason that they're able to chase down at all is on account of the fact that they get all those extra range attacks. When they have all those range attacks, there's a decent chance that they're picking up matchups and crits on the way, which then causes a problem as soon as we try to cross the map. Technically, I guess there's also the option of sending, let's say, Knight and Canopus over and leaving everyone else to fend off the ward, so to speak, which could work. That's going to be the backup plan if the main one doesn't work here, but I feel like we'll probably be better off this time. Because just on account of not leaving two characters naked, we probably should see some decent results here. Also, this one kind of makes Accretion Disc sound like a old-timey Japanimation intro. Just kind of funny. Now, I might be mistaken on this, but is that a technically accurate accretion disk? Let me look up. I looked up the definition at some point. I thought it was some, like, solar body or something. Hold up. The process of growth or increase typically by the gradual accumulation of additional layers or matter. Yeah, I guess that is an accretion disk. An accretion disk is a rotating structure of gas, dust, and plasma spiraling inwards towards a massive central body, such as a black hole, neutron star, or young star. Formed by gravitational attraction, these disks generate immense heat millions of degrees through friction and turbulence. Neato, neato. I mean, it's like a way happier version of the same thing. Avoiding the cleric-in-law? That's not what... Okay, let's see. Since this is stone only, are we avoiding cleric hell on law? It's TBD on that one. Still kind of deciding. Also, March of the Black Queen battle music. Brass Heart Detonation. Alrighty then. I think they're probably going with some of the funky translations of the original soundtrack. In which case, I wonder like what we're gonna see for the thumbnail for like "Where's the Bathroom" or whatever it was called. Sorry, the cleric-in-law was making me laugh, but that's not what you're trying to say. All right. See, now, what this particular thumbnail is missing, though, is, like, if that's supposed to be Destined down there at the bottom, he needs to be looking like a frickin', like, Gambit or something, just going and juggling a bunch of tarot cards. Let's see, this guy's up to 10 / potentially 12, so hopefully we'll get them back up to 20 / potentially more than 20. But yeah, if I recall correctly, after this, the next shop upgrade is when we get BOS, which means that we can put a lot more focus on a sort of solo Canopus endeavor. Because we don't necessarily need physical cards on him for anything other than taking care of the ghosts. So as soon as we do that, we should potentially be in a better place. So I guess I came in here with 2 knights, huh? Oh, good. The original plan was to switch everybody into knights, and this does give us all the knights that we need. So yeah, more knights means more phalanx, means less healing, means more everything. Yeah, as far as Cleric Hell goes, it's kind of a double-edged thing. I think since the forest is available by that point, it might not necessarily be a problem, and additionally we'd have access to other units at that point. Like, really, it's up to Chapter 2 that's going to be the suckiest part. Once options open up, it's going to be a lot more open. Which, like, yeah, no shit. But, like, once we get past that Chapter 2 hurdle, that's when we get lizards, beasts, Terranites, all that sort of thing. Now, that's actually one of the other benefits that earlier versions technically could get for this. In which you could technically get access to Terranites in Chapter 1 in the other versions. Which, yeah, I don't exactly know how much of a benefit that'll give here, but it'll give some benefit. It's more than 0. So I think what I need to do is really just trap everybody here with the knights. I currently have 2 knights right here. Let's kind of let Canopus do whatever he's doing. Alright, next one is Battle Brass. This is the theme of cliffs in my brain. Yeah, I don't know if anyone here is familiar with Ed Van Fleet by any chance. But, like, if anybody else gets really severe Ed Van Fleet vibes from this one, not the least of which I assume was possibly intentional, because of this logo. So look at the art for this particular one and go look up an album called Light This by Ed Van Fleet and tell me you don't get similar vibes from it. Yeah, it's funny that that's a very, as far as I'm aware, relatively tiny indie guy. Since back in the 90s, I got one of their CDs back in the 90s called Grand Eagle, and I've been listening to that thing on loop for decades. It's not the most amazing thing ever, but it's just extremely nostalgic. It's one of those things. Apparently, a very nostalgic kind of thing here today. Our heal for you. I could just have you go pick up that fizz card over there. That could potentially help us out substantially. Yep. I feel like all these dodge stones and stuff like that are probably going to come into play more later. For right now, they're just kind of there in case we need them. Because I'm feeling like early phase of this whole thing, for the time being, is just simply going to be getting rid of these ghosts. If they're gone, everybody else is tankable. It's just the fact that they can attack anybody from anywhere. So they eventually end up getting a couple of chain attacks through. What happened last time, that's what happened the first time. Yeah, I love this little kind of deviation in the middle of the song here. Like, in general, I love how much work was put into these, because, again, they're not repeating. They're going through a bunch of different cycles, going through a bunch of different ideas, trying out new stuff. It's great. Good stuff. A good cover. Okay. Now, hopefully, with everything being how it is here, hopefully we won't need any replacements this time, because it feels like Canopus is maybe doing a bit better. Funny, that the way that one ended almost reminded me of one of the bits of Twin Sabaton song. It was, I think it was the one about, like, is it Hungry or something? It's like that one bit was like, always remember a fallen soldier. That one. Which song that was? Oh yeah, we got a jazzy version of the theme of the Black Knights. See, now I can see this being like a fun intro to like a PI show. It's just like Ozma and Hobrim, after everything happens, they're just like going around in their old detective trench coats, going through the main streets of Lotus, trying to, there's like whiskey bottles in one hand, old-timey revolvers in another, trying to crack the case. They've been 2 days from retirement for the last 13 years. Alright. Like, that part of it, kind of whatever, but I love the kind of noir-y vibes of the rest of it. Yeah, so this is one version. I believe he was using a lot of his other tricks for this particular idea. There was another version that was the Knight of Lotus version of this. So there are multiple versions of this particular piece. Yeah, going back into spy music stuff. This is great. It's like absolute bangers on this list is the thing. So I did include a link, by the way, in the description for anyone that wants to go and just go through all of these different songs. as far as a randomized playlist and stuff like that, maybe he'll pull one out at some point. I don't know. That was just sort of a nice little treat for this particular video. So, you know, hopefully he'll put out one of those. But yeah, the joys of a good passion project. Oh yeah, actually, I forgot. Warren, are you still here? Because I actually meant to ask you something. See if he's still here. Wait, sorry for the weird noise there. As we continue holding a tiny alleyway against the ghosts. Rocky like a hurricane. Yeah. We'll add them. We'll add them. I think... Wait, actually, come to think about it, I think there might be a hurricane in the party. I mean, honestly, part of the annoyance of this particular run is trying to talk and also not getting people killed. It's kind of like a lot of the weirder like RE challenge runs and stuff like that, where it's just like you forget one thing and now suddenly the entire thing's down the toilet. Yeah, one of all stupid ideas, one of the things that I was thinking of for background stuff while doing this, or while doing the music review stream, I have no idea why Rock Only wasn't the first thing that came to mind, but for some reason one of them that came to mind was attempting in like RE3 Inferno runs on a Vita. Which is about the dumbest idea I could have come up with. But yeah, as far as masochism goes, I mean, it's certainly one way to suffer. Okay. Oh man, I love this refrain right here. It's like it's just somehow jumping between two completely different tones of just like sort of gritty PI vibes, but also kind of a jovial celebratory one in there. Like, it's neat. Like it. And we're back to the spy stuff. Someone needs to make an MGS1 mod that like replaces Ocelot with Balzaphon and Liquid Snake with Tartaros. Let's see. I mean, with so many PS1 type things getting mods, I feel like that possibly almost is in the realm of possibility to exist. Nice. Okay. Sad when we're celebrating at 28. Stone rocks. Yeah, it feels like I kind of overlooked a very potentially good option here. What I really should be doing is stacking up everything I possibly can on Canopus. Just having him chuck rocks from the top of the building over the river while everybody else holds off all the rest of these guys. And I don't even know what we're going into for the end of the scene here. Feels like they just, like the PIs just discovered mechs. Ah, dang, I think Warren Report fell asleep. I feel like this is March of the Black Queen, I'm not sure. I'm gonna say where's the Black? No, it's not. Very lucky parry there. That knife parry might have saved her life. Provided we can still get a heal over there. So can you get stones over to her? Almost. Basically puts him in the danger zone if he does. So we just deal with ghosts first, and then just kind of have him chuck from a distance. Should be the safest bet here. Yeah, I feel like this is the boss theme from March of the Black Queen. Secondary boss theme. Final boss theme. Am I mistaken? That sounds right. Also, I love how it's just like, now the drums have moved to the desert. Oh, well, I guess that parry didn't save her life. Ah, she parried the pitchfork only to get chainsawed in the back. What a shame. Oh, well. Yeah, with all the discounts lately, I've been going through all of the Ori remakes and stuff, going back to try out some of the ones that I never really got a chance to give a try before. Yeah, to be honest, I'm a little bit surprised that the 2 remake gets as praised as much as it did. Pretty alright, but man, there's a lot of really annoying stuff in that one. Tapping knockback damage, you want to maybe do the same. Not so much. There we go. Physical down there on the bottom right. Might be worth pursuing. See that? Losing that cleric was entirely on me. That should not have... Actually, not even cleric. Actually, wait a minute. They're also not dead either. God, I brought revival items. Well, we can fix this problem, actually. Okay. Go ahead and do that. Yeah, why this one's called Brass Blade. But again, I'm just going to assume Japanese translations or some such. Oh, got Pebble Boa back. Getting the ghost pressure out of the way gives us more of an opening to then get rid, or rather get the other dudes on our side. Once they're gone and converted, that allows for getting rid of the skeletons and then goes back to the pre. Yeah, this plan's gone back and forth a few times. What can I say? This is not exactly the most riveting thing from a gameplay perspective, but it's a matter of is it technically possible, which I still think should theoretically be yes. Increased tempo, was AFK a bit, but I was waiting for electric guitar, nice instrumentation. Yep. Yeah, a lot of these were a lot faster since most of them were workout mixes and stuff like that. The more chilled out ones, I don't know if you actually put those out officially as of yet, so again, I'm hoping that was fine to be playing those. He seemed to enjoy them, so I mean, the whole thing, the whole point was basically as a passion project just to get that stuff out there anyway. So again, under that category of like, you know, what's technically okay to use robots for or not. Cleric needs to survive. Everybody needs to be heading back over this way. Stop trying to spread out so much because I'm too busy talking and I'm moving around all over the place. Perfect. Put this one to sleep. She doesn't have a whole lot of options for getting out of here, but thankfully most of these guys are melee. Probably one tile out of range, right? Yeah. Alright. Let's try to just push forward here, eat some of these cards to try to get more physicals to spawn in. Hopefully keep Vice alive, because we can't revive him. Or Canopus action going on. Definitely cannot bring him along with everybody else this time. We'll miss. Go. Back in business. Locking like so should hopefully keep her safe. Yeah, I think this is like the third version of limitation that we've heard so far. He's had a few different versions. Which, the more that I think about it, I wonder if a lot of these were sort of intended as like a lot of the names might have potentially just been like made up as a nod to the bizarre names that the SNES version had. I don't remember any of them being called Desert Brassblade, but it certainly sounds like the kind of thing that would happen. So I suppose if they wanted to really go for the nods that the original had, we had to add a lot of questions about their office. Like maybe have one called Bamboozled on the Loo or something. Area stun out there. And just get her out of the picture, that would be good. Like, part of the reason that the Enchantress keeps getting brought along, even though her sleeps and stuns aren't doing amazingly here, is because we can't really use training, so a huge portion of why they're here is to try and get training in, because the Knights are going to want to basically be the front line for the whole thing. I do want at least one utility caster, and we basically can't make it without a Cleric. Got a nice cover, looks like a chill cover of Autumnal Sky here. Feels oddly off-key, but that feels like it's intentional. Now, do we have any saxophone players in the community? That's the question. Like, what I would like to see is this stuff being used as the template, and then we get, like, just suddenly a bunch of people realizing that they had instruments collecting dust in the closet that they could figure out one theme for, and then just, like, community-wise, everybody gets together and they all figure out one theme. In that case, dibs on Fortune Teller on a violin. It's kind of an interesting hook on this one, where it's like you think it's going to go down and then it goes up. It's a fun composition on these. Good bit of thought happened to him. Actually, that's kind of cool. It sort of harmonizes with the original, too. Collective harmonies, maybe. So far, we're almost back down to the ghost being gone. So little by little, step by step. Get greedy this time, just take care of the ghosts. The rest of it will solve itself. That's their job. Steady. Bone steady and lots of physical cards. Probably should avoid taking a stone throw unless they actually can take knockback damage, like here. Which, honestly, that should mostly be Denim doing those, because he's the one with luck bonus. Actually, wait a minute. I just noticed accidental potential expert move happen here. So you noticed earlier how the caster wasn't able to actually get up from that cliff on the right? Oh, never mind. Apparently they're not going to have that problem. I guess... Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, Archer's movement is lower. It's closer to a caster, but they still have the jump too. I guess fair enough. I was going to say for a moment there, I wonder if maybe they got locked down there and couldn't move, but nah. No such luck, I'm afraid. It's fine, though. These things will happen. And I'm liking it a lot more all of a sudden. Ah, they're coming in with the extra backups there. Nice. That's a good one. That's a good one. It started off iffy, but it got there. It got there. A knockback, nothing. Fish for one knockback. The reason I'm going for that sort of greedy one on him there, which that works out nicely. That sorts out that problem. But Denham's got something like probably like a 10% chance of getting a knockback to everybody else, which is like 4, I think it was. He's got the higher luck and everything. Again, those numbers are based off of estimates, but either way, his odds to knockback are higher. Oh, one of my favorite themes. Okay, so this is Battle 4 from Night of Lotus. Now, this is the Chell version. There's actually a completely different one that was in the workout mix video. So, yeah, I love this theme. You know, the theme of Rana C and whatever. He didn't go into the little build-up. He didn't. And we're going for a little bit of a riff there. All right. That works. So we're avoiding most of the marching for this one. This might knock him out. It's had a chance to. In fact, actually, I'm going to go take this critical with him. Probably shouldn't leave any of these criticals laying around, even if it potentially causes a downgrade elsewhere. Because, yeah, as far as the criticals are concerned, if they get a hold of one of those, it's a problem and a half, and crap. Vice, you absolute prick. Okay, well, problem. Big problem. Notable problem of definite problemness. Okay, you need to go here, block this archer from moving. Should have bought holy water. Why didn't I buy holy water? Alright. So, here's the problem. They are apparently dead set on blocking this cleric from reaching this ghost over here. She's got a couple of rounds, maybe, to reach the guy, meaning that she cannot take her turns to go and heal to get up there. Means that either Donalto decides to do what he's absolutely not going to do and exercise the thing. Holy crap, he actually bothered for once. Okay, never mind, I take it back. The AI has discovered the eye. Fantastic. Alright, so that is one ghost Parmegon, and Pebbleboa needs to absolutely run for her life before she gets crossbowed again. Should be out of the danger zone here. Fortunately, broadsword Amazon over there is a problem as always. Yeah, fun little thing. The only reason that the Broadsword Amazon is ever kind of like this notable threat early on is just on account of the small strength bonus on that thing. It's not actually that good. Just the little bonus strength bonus it gets matters a lot at this stage of the game. That block right there possibly just saved his life. Have to purge all of his cards to save Mr. Dudeman's life. Yo. It's to live, but at the price of the phalanx. Price may be a story, but whatever. What is Shalty Blear? No clue. Right, this is the one where they started using more voices. See, I'm not really a big fan of the artificial voices on this one. I get where they were going with it. Not a huge fan of it, of this particular one, though, because it lands in a weird spot. Alright, Vice is out of here, but whatever, he did his job. Current priorities are a little weird because of all things. This one's becoming a problem. Only at one physical right now, but that already makes her a big old threat versus the versus our witch lady over there. Time to start trying to get her out of the picture. Isn't super realistic, but you know. Actually, no. New plan. We're gonna move. Okay. It's gonna take some escorting, but here's the plan. We're gonna make a little bit of a sort of area around the skeleton here, where these guys can move through. Okay. Alto, if he decides to stay behind, will be sacrificed. It's whatever. But try to go here, convince the skeleton to move out of the way, gain control of the little alleyway. If not, that'd be great. Would like to get rid of this ghost. Might just be more practical to move to the other side of the bridge at this point. Can have two knights on one end of the bridge. Everybody else can focus on dealing with what's her face over there, Moldova. Is it Moldova at this point? I don't know. Sorry, tired brain kicking in. Is kind of late. It is Moldova. Okay. Because as dumb as this sounds, all we need is 36 lucky knockbacks. That's all it takes to really win this thing. They have no way of healing. They have no recovery. Just gotta get to that point. And the main point at risk here is currently the caster. Go. Lucky sleep. Here, do a little bit of healing. Oh. Next is apparently a happy cover of a song called Gloomy. I mean, it's very fitting, you know, the music is very nice, given the environment here. Certainly feels like rainy weather. Actually, my immediate thought is that this sounds a lot like something you'd hear out of Triangle Strategy of all things. Which is kind of neat. Wait a minute, is this the... This is Knight of Lotus. Interesting. Yeah, seriously, this is like if Knight of Lotus was remade by the Triangle Strategy team. That's cool. Which, yeah, please don't hand it to them. It was an okay game, but man, very ham-fisted. Okay, enough about that. Bridge, do this. Keep forgetting to pick that up when it comes up on sales. I've been meaning to go back and do some challenge runs of Triangle Strategy. Like I've got 2 switches that I'm currently repairing, but they're still in parts. I haven't had a whole lot of luck figuring out what the hell's broken on them. There's a fuse burned out somewhere in both of their cases, but as it goes with these things, sometimes it's a bit of a pain in the neck to figure out where exactly that is. Exactly have that. The kiddos occasionally bring their switches, but yet not exactly going to be borrowing them for videos, so there's that. Fuck. No. Happen. You need to go here. Keep Pebbleboa safe. At this point, I'm just committed to getting her out of here. Shit. Money block in this direction. Apparently she's in a bit of danger from old Featherhat over there. Going down slow and steady. Hopefully by the time everyone gets here, and maybe it'll be possible to be done with all this. I should probably point out, by the way, somebody was asking in the comments of whether facing somewhere increases parry odds. Not that we know of, but I mean, it's just kind of one of those like little superstition things. I feel like it probably should, so I always put people facing towards where everything is anyway. You know, maybe it'll work. I don't know. Nice. Please. I think this is like the chapter transition music or something. I don't know why I'm blanking on where exactly this one's from. I don't know. But if Mr. Toronto doesn't get his butt over here, he is not making this bridge transit. So he gets on that. Oh, next one is the March of the Black Queen version of Viking Spirits. Possibly our next best plan here might be to breach the ghost to speed stuff up. Those breaches won't really help a lot because they multiply damage, but they can't. If the thing isn't making past defenses anyway, don't really help much. So yes, I'm putting on the dodge after already getting out of the danger zone for it. Big smart there. No tired brain at all. I don't know what you're talking about. So, I can probably leave Denim up front here. Really enjoying the Warren Report remix being played here. Yeah, I know. That's what I wanted to do, because I feel like in many cases when folks were seeing this thing, they got the immediate gut reaction that I know I get every time that I hear anything, you know, robot related there, which is just like, oh no, this was created using that. Immediately set it on fire. And again, most times I'd agree. but in this case, you can clearly hear that this was like a tool used for its right purpose for once. So, you know, like, dude's really good at doing passion projects. Like, say what you will, that channel is like filled with nothing but absolute love for this series. It's great. So good to see you streaming again. Too bad I likely missed all the reviews and thoughts on the remix already. I mean, we're covering them as they come. He was kind enough to provide a kind of a pile of the raw music files to sort of like peruse and do a sort of randomized list for, so it's not exactly the same as the videos, so, you know, there's that. Also, hi there, Vale, how's it going? Long time no see on one of these, and yeah, I mean, as far as streams go, maybe they'll be more regular at some point. You know, life always finds a way to get more interesting. Like, oh, everything's just fine, and then it isn't. Like, around the beginning of last year, I thought everything was finally on course to be more stable, everything was looking good, and then, oh, guess what? It's time to find a new place to live. It's time to deal with, you know, figuring out new schedules and new work and doing double work and triple work and yada, yada, yada. Life adventures. They are very frustrating sometimes. Anyway. But that's how it goes sometimes, you know? Deal as you deal, and then you just sort of keep on going. And yes, he is, Warren! He is here. Oh yeah, that's what I was meaning to ask. The sort of the chilled out remixes of this whole thing, I hope it was fine to include those on this. I don't know if you actually put those out there yet, but they're really friggin' good, and I just sort of put everything in a pile and didn't really think about it until we were into the stream here, so hopefully that's fine. See, very sleepy, had shoulder surgery, so can't type. Oh, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. The gym, playing games 2 weeks, and going out of my mind here with boredom. You hanging in there? Little by little. You know, getting there. Starting new types of work. You know, kiddos are finally stabilizing with the new situation, so, you know, life's like that. Do you need a playlist for falling asleep as well? Amen, man. Like, honestly, these chill out mixes are great stuff. The literal only issue that I had with them and why I was messaging Warren about this is, like, I would like to randomize these because I'm constantly listening to them when I'm going and doing deliveries. And yeah, that's why we have a random list in the background now. The workout mix was fun. Oh yeah, there's some real solid ones in there. I really like the Night of Lotus one. And really like the first half of the Lucked ones, and then like the middle was sort of kind of so-so, and then it got like really good later too. Then trying to call out the really good ones and the you know, maybe some improvements along the ways here. But yeah, overall it's really solid. Like seriously, he did good work with his stuff. The robots are exonerated for 5 minutes, dang it. Okay, not exonerated, but like temporarily execution stayed. That feels mean to say. Anyway, again, tools being used for the right purpose. Again, same brick that builds a house can be used to break a window, so it is what it is. Let's see, the chiller study mix can help with a lot of that. Always do it for me, and old Warren sleeps a lot. Fair, fair. The delivery, like you're doing food deliveries or parcels on the job, definitely don't want to be falling asleep with a playlist while doing that. So, kind of depends. Whenever there have been people looking for courier work, you know, would do that too. Then, for the most part, everyone just uses DoorDash for that. And it's just a nice, cozy way to be like, hey, I dropped off the kiddos. They're like, you know, 20 minutes away from the house. Well, I guess not the house anymore, but, you know, like 20 minutes out. I can do some deliveries on the way back, do other side gigs on the way back. You know, get back, rest up a little bit, have lunch or something. Go out to do more projects, you know, go pick them up, go to, you know, eventually, it depends on what day of the week it is, on whether or not they're going to the ex's house or what, and the whole thing. But yeah, no, it's a good little way to fit stuff in, but I do a mix of a lot of different stuff. I was doing retail for a year. I was basically asked to go do something during the night because I was already working during the day, doing side gigs during the day, doing regular work, you know, watching the kiddos and stuff like that during the day. Then was still getting yelled at, like, oh, you need to be doing even more. So I went to go do retail third shift for a year, and yeah, that sucked. Yeah. Anyways, life got even more interesting as a result of that, so... Again, falls into personal drama territory. So I got you covered. Wednesday I'll publish the last set list, and we'll all dance, sing, and party all night. Sounds like a plan. Yeah, there's a bunch of these songs to still go through, by the way, so whenever we finally get past this bit, like, there's plenty more for later stuff as well. You definitely want a nice energetic playlist while out and about to keep up on energy. Exactly. And I like... Dude, this... The way that this one kind of goes into sort of grimmer territory here is really cool. I was actually saying earlier, I really, while there were certain bits I didn't like of it, the sort of like, I almost want to say like classic like a private investigator story remix of the theme of the Black Knights there was freaking awesome. I don't know what inspired that. But just, like, the idea of just, like, Ozma and Hobrim going around as old-timey detectives, you know, drinking one hand, revolver in the other, trying to crack the case permanently 2 days from retirement. Like, oh, that was good stuff, man. Really like that one. Yeah, a lot of these I haven't heard yet, but most of the remix ones I've listened to a bunch. I just downloaded the full randomized list today because yeah, you know, wanted to do this thing and wanted to be surprised and stuff. Are we forgetting anyone? Hopefully we're not forgetting anyone. I'm going to leave the sort of bridge area open for Donalto to eventually get his happy buttercross here. And we can start throwing rocks at Moldova here. So yeah, everyone has the potential to do more than 10 damage to her. It's just a random chance. The all-night energy, sure that. Would premiere the music. Bless you all. Oh no, it's the theme of Square Enix is coming for your copyright. Okay, a little bit of backstory on this. So, the rest of the themes in this series, Square doesn't really care about. For some reason, the PSP version of this theme in particular, if you have any version of it in your like your videos or streams or anything, they will immediately start throwing out copyrights. It's the strangest thing. Like, not even the Reborn version, just the PSP version, not the SNES version that they've gone and, you know, relisted. Specifically just the single oldest version that's not even available anymore, that's the one they care about. I don't know why, but yeah, that's just kind of a thing. Alright, one tile closer. It's alright, Don, you tried. An effort was almost made. Keep Pebble Boa partially alive here. This is neat. I like the sort of extension on where this one was going, because by this point the theme would have faded out already. Alright, the ghost is almost gone. Once the ghost is gone, we can fully commit to getting what needs to be done. For context, for those that missed it earlier, the problem is the ghosts are the only ones that can convincingly get across the water, or consistently get across the water. Everyone else can be delayed and kept on the side of the river, so by blocking it off with 3 knights at 3 specific spots, they can be completely prevented from crossing to the side. That's why we wanted 3 knights for this particular endeavor here. They won't really ever use the right side if everybody's on the left, so they really can only just sort of... If you can imagine just like a bunch of little lemmings bumping against something over and over, that's kind of what the AI is doing just over a really long period of time. So like if we block over this area, like 2 on the bridge, and then like this one's free to leave alone, but then this one needs to be blocked off, that can keep them trapped. Oh, actually, come to think of it, Vale, I just noticed I forgot to... I had more updates on that book. I just noticed I forgot to actually send those. I keep, like, listening to it while deliveries, in between this and deliveries and whatever else, like, depending on how bad the headache is that day. Because, yeah, the headache has still stuck there ever since a friggin' chicken coop fell on my head. But, yeah, the... Either way. Forgot to send more notes. Apologies. There we go. That's looking okay. Sort of coming together. If Denim scooches over one, Knight in the middle scooches over to take his place, or rather, I guess actually we can just do one of these here. Now we should be good. That ghost is the only one that can still cross the water. At least cross the buildings, rather. Little by little, everyone else can just sort of chip away. As mentioned before, it will continue to be 1 damage until it isn't, because as soon as they're trapped against something, that's when they can do more. Oof. Man, that's painful. Okay. They're doing a lot now. Like, if we can get Moldova surrounded, that's all that really needs to happen. Get her surrounded. At that point, she's taking damage from all directions. I have to leave this gap open for a moment. The other knight can step in here. Completely toast otherwise. No worries, are you liking it? Weird to be only an editor and not the writer of a Griffin book. And it's cozy. I like it. I was saying in the last set of notes, like, I really appreciate what they did with a lot of the lines there. Specifically with the... I'm blanking on his name right now, but one of the leaders of what is effectively the racist birds over there. Like, the whole... the way that they were delivering the whole impossible section just gave me... just made me think of M. Bison, of all things. Like, okay, that's how you know they did a good bad guy voice here. So that was solid. Let's see if we can maybe pin her against the river here. If they could stop landing crits and getting through, that'd be fantastic. Fortunately, they're getting through like it's nothing because these knights are acting so slow. Okay. Oh, missed the second part of that message. Best wishes as well. And there she goes. Dang it! Her getting a match up here really crapped up the plans here. Solarek does not have a stone. Just gonna go ahead and bring it back then. Unfortunately, stun did not do its job in that particular instance. This one's very, it sounds very highbrow. Sounds like there's like a fancy party happening or whatnot. Reminds me of the Emmys or something. Downside of this, I think I have to get Pebble Boa completely out of here. Because unfortunately, taking 250s is just going to completely screw up the plans here. Got the gap closed off. Throw out a jewel here just to get a little bit of dodge going. Except a little bit of stepping back here. I got a little bit of a plan to hopefully keep them on the other side of the river. Possibly involve sacrificing Donalto. Yeah, that plan just got completely crapped on. Yeah, definitely not quite fully in place yet. I might have to give it a little bit of a pause in a moment because there was something that I had to go deal with because there was some food that I needed to go put away. If that happens. Oh my freaking goodness, would you please stop doing that? Definitely unfortunate spawn situation there. What's your favorite remix so far? I'm so far, I think probably that it's between two of them. There was one. Yeah, let me find the exact name of the thing because I think it was the jazz remix of Revolt. That was one of them, and then the other one, probably second or first, was that Theme of the Black Knight remix. That was like an old-timey PI theme, like a very noir-sounding thing. This is very quickly turning into the bullying Pebble Boa simulator over here. With you right here. Seems like a bit of an odd choice. Here's what I'm thinking. With the bridge locked off, try to completely lock the bridge off, maybe get the other guys trapped in the middle of the water there. We can just get her above 255 to lock her in place down here. Be possible. Know exactly where she's going to attack every time. Hopefully we get Pebble Boa out of range to not have to deal with that as much. Assuming with all of this, Donalto gets himself healed up. Hopefully they lose attention toward the middle of the map and start heading towards the other way. Which then should hopefully free up everybody to just bully Moldova over there. Hoping to get at least one of them freed up from the bottom there. Ghost is pretty much entirely out of the picture here, but there's... Be done there. Ooh. Okay. So he called this one Square Wave Siege, but this, oh man, that's hilarious. They're like fighting with guitars and stuff. That's great. Love that. Keep getting put to sleep. See, what I'd like to do is to free up the bottom side knight. I want to get... I need to at least get one unit freed up somewhere. So, if I can get everybody stuck behind the two knights, free up the third one, kind of move them up from the bottom, repeatedly put everybody to sleep, that should deal with basically that entire side. A couple of heals is doing enough to keep Pebble Boa here the sort of repeat obvious target. Sort of lead Moldova around by the nose here. Each game remix was fun in its own way, but I'm really loving the party themes. Is that what this one is? Yeah, I don't know exactly what's what, but like, yeah, a lot of these were really, really fun. Yeah, if I can just get them trapped on the bridges and stuff. Thankfully, Donalto managed to keep himself alive on the other side there. Not really sure why he's decided to stay over there, but either way, it gives us a little bit more play here. But then hopefully, any random corner will be enough to get her trapped over there. As long as she's able to get trapped, then puts us into a position that yeah, we can just kind of keep chucking rocks and hoping for those pushbacks. He's not doing so good over there. Yeah, this one's nice. I always love a good guitar riff, though, so that's... Yeah. That's never not going to be the case. I'm just a sucker for a good guitar riff. Alright. It's a blasphemous experiment. I think this was part of the exercise mix. The workout mix and whatever. A little zombie drone in the background. Could take it or leave it, but it's fine. Not rocking until there's rifts, exactly. Right. So they're just baseball batting away stones with their frickin' staff. Some stuff. We've got 2 potential paths over the water clear. It's not ideal. That's a problem. Well, actually, that's not really a problem. It's an inconvenience. Again, dick move stealing all the stuff. Right. You go here, which means that she's functionally safe from the archers. She's the only one that's in really any danger from those archers. If the ghost decides to get close, we can finish him off. Only reason that he hasn't been finished off so far is because the ghost ran away, so yeah. Finish him off, and aside from that, everybody else shouldn't really be too much of a threat. Should be able to out-heal everything else. And yeah, so in a bit of a moment, going to be taking a short pause, like I said, to go deal with putting some food away, which should probably have cooled down out of the crock pot by now, and yeah, then we can continue on from there. Temporarily use you to hold her in place. There we go. That should be her held in place from all directions. Oh, I guess she's not completely safe from the archers, and also, they just... See, that's one of those other things I do love about Tor, though. Like, the way that the cards kind of change around the entire situation as far as who can knock back whom, who can, you know, potentially activate skills how often. The way that it dynamically changes all that stuff up, like, in that case, it would have been a complete lockdown under other circumstances, but due to this guy's loadout here, where he picked up a couple crits, he was still able to just push his way through, which meant having to adapt on the fly again. Which now means that we no longer have a complete monopoly on this area. So, move you here. There's more here, which suddenly turns our cleric into the DS character, interestingly enough. We're gonna need to go over this area a little bit. Okay, so be right back. Okie doke, and I'm back, and alright, this I love this one. Sort of the tail end of that particular remix, if I recall correctly. Alright, now we got a Villahania. Except seems like the almost Resident Evil remix of this one. That's cool. Yeah, I like the random bridges going on here. It's like the rainy day remix of the already rainy day song. That's awesome. Yeah, this one's a solid piece of work. They're probably an easy, like, second or third place right now. And yeah, for anyone wondering, yeah, you can throw rocks at point blank range. It's not a good idea, but you can technically do it. Yeah, it's getting a bit rough to keep her there because everybody is focusing on her. It's a little bit dicey. We went from the 250 being a problem to now she's up to 280. 280s plus also we got the 290s coming out from the archers there. Such a cool riff on the up and down too. Alright, if I can just get that guy to go to sleep, possibly block this area off with anyone else, that could give us more options to play with. Maybe I can get her locked up over on the corner. Because if she's locked on the corner there, then that potentially can be only 2 units holding her in place. It could work. W, you say? What is W? Are you secretly Wario? This is still manageable for right now. That is the problem. To somehow bait her into a corner. Probably don't necessarily need to deal with the ghost anymore, but it is potentially one extra thing. And yeah, they keep running through with those criticals is the problem. They've basically completely broken through at this point. Fall asleep. That buys us a little bit more time. When your stream's always very relaxing. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. These are a nice little relaxing thing to do every now and then. Once eventually Once everything eventually completely stabilizes, that's when I'd like to make these more of like a weekly or bi-weekly thing. This is nice to just relax and play these things, you know? See, it's a little bit amazing that for many other things I can potentially get tired out, but honestly I could probably play this thing for like 24 hours straight and still be fine. It's just that fun. Let's see, if we throw a rock at you, then you have a rock. Several lucky blocks, that's good. Thinking if maybe we can get her knocked back into the pit below, it might be an easier area to hold off. Because especially with the two frontliners repeatedly getting crits and dodging their sleep casts, it's kind of the problem we're running into here. Especially the lack of lucky knockbacks. Oh man, love this cover too. Nice, happy Warren Report theme cover. Of course, he put extra work into his own theme. Right. Sleep, hopefully. And what are the odds? Every single one of their frontliners just ate all the crit cards. Repeat after me. Fuck. Alright, moving on. In and out. Then I think we're gonna have to retreat back to by this building here. Ghost is gonna wander off. Keep pushing her backwards. Claim this area. Probably can still hold all of the rear area with 3 archers, or with 3 knights. That gives us a little bit of wiggle room. For any that are just showing up here, the main issue right now is on account of the other units getting a bit set up here. I can't quite finish off this ghost as of yet. I'm working on that. But basically we're trying to bait Moldova into going backwards, into hopefully going behind the building so that all of their various stacks of criticals and stuff like that no longer being an issue. Especially on account of Moldova getting beefed up over the course of this whole thing. The only way we can reasonably do any solid numbers to are if she's got her back against a wall somewhere. Your damage goes up significantly if you're able to get a lucky pushback into a stone wall. Well, not a stone wall, into just like literally any wall. Keep putting people to sleep with her. Or non-people as the things may be. Thankfully that ghost has had some of the worst luck of anyone ever. Phalanx and Rampart generally do a good job of keeping everybody solid, but if they get a crit, Moldova gets an attack off on somebody, etc., etc., those are the stacks that keep pushing us backwards here. Fortunately, the window's kind of closing here to be able to safely deal with that ghost. I'd have to leave him at low health and sort of see about dealing with him some other way. Because I need to keep enough healing pumping out while trying to redirect Moldova into a corner to be able to hold her down with 2 units, to be able to hold everybody else off well enough to progress here. Thankfully, it's lucky parry. Need 2 knights repeatedly just taking steps backward while trying to hold everybody in place. Every time Moldova gets hungry, somebody's health disappears. As long as it's consistent, you can keep healing the same one, but let's say archers crit on somebody, melee's crit on another, she crits on another, or she just whacks another because her crit odds are pretty low right now. All these are potential problems, so... Okay, Double Boa is definitely earning her keep right now. Especially considering half the fight has been keeping her alive. body block. Safety heal. If anyone ever ends up getting completely knocked down, then we're in a lot of trouble here. But, with any luck, happen. This might help the situation. Trying to get the ramparts going in such a way that she literally has one direction to move because the AI wants to move when it can. Just got this deep-seated need to move somewhere. Unless they're the hyper-aggressive ones and they hit somebody head-on, they generally don't go towards the middle spot. Ah, for crap's sake. Okay. I do have a backup plan for that. Help a ton if she just went where I needed her to go. Try to move her here, see if that helps. This guy can be put to sleep. That might improve our odds a little bit. Paralysis might also improve it quite significantly. Knocked out from 3 directions. That's be the knockback. Right, next turn might finally be the exorcism turn. Gets rid of one of their units at the very least. That is really fucky bad luck. That's just like extremely fucky bad luck. Like failed knockbacks over and over and over again. They get a lucky knockback on that unit in that specific spot. Getting rid of their positioning so that they don't go where they go. Ugh. That sucks. Alright. It's still doable. It's just going to take a couple more rounds now. Fine. Fortunately, kind of regretting that decision to put 2 of the Blessing Stones over on the unit that keeps getting knocked out, but, you know. And at the time, trying to think of it, do I even have anyone with any left? Just one. I wish they would have added a feature in this one to allow you to share your items. Yeah. One left at the moment. Fortunately, this is not when I can use it. She's going to attack immediately. Just gonna have to live through it for them. Here, in the hopes that she decides to move up, and then hopefully eventually moves forward and left. Not moving at all. Cool. Locked. Unfortunately, I hate to say it type situation, we're gonna need Pebbleboa back, but if anybody else goes down at that point, just the end of that. If they could stop critting nonstop, that would be amazing. Fortunately, the situation that we're in currently. Just gonna continue trying to meet backwards here. Down. Timing sucks, though. The one unit that's able to bring her back is also repeatedly acting right before Moldova. Take a long move with him just to slow him down on purpose. Finally, she moves. It took forever. This also leaves that area very crowded. Go forward. Yourself up, which lets the knight move. No, nobody getting knocked back from here. Very lucky miss. Very high odds of crit from any one of these guys, unfortunately. This one's alright. I don't know about this one being one of my favorites necessarily. Got a nice, you know, cozy little jazzy beat to it. Very calm. It's starting to grow on me more and more, though. Give up that tile yet. This lines up about as perfect as it can be. Please get a knockback. Okay, one step closer to this being a win here. As soon as she's in a corner, that vastly limits her attack options. Turn is coming up. He's gonna have to get Pebbleboa back right before she bleeds out. And what I want to do here, and what the reason that I don't want to give up this tile, is I want to try and hopefully turn works out here. Get her back, can move over here. Gonna see about baiting this warrior unit over here to move to the right. I gotta jump at 2. She has no business being up there. Just block her off, take that tile, put a knight back up there. Have one that got knocked out of the way. That's how they were able to get there in the first place. Then potentially that clears out that entire area. Kinetic wave over here. Stumble. Ah, hell. Actually, this could potentially be a lot worse, so... Here to try to knock her backwards. Make sure Pebbleboa survives the next turn to get the knight back up on her feet. Anyone that can knock her out is currently being pushed towards the back. One more knockback, then she's locked in. One Knight moves in like a door. Everybody else is sort of meandering around looking for a position. That guy's just going off wherever. Dang it. Knock them back. Get them back up from here. Try to move her into this back area. This little corner has a little bit of a awkward angle, so I'm hoping maybe it can be used to block some stuff off. Because it does block arrows from certain angles. Physicals aren't doing anything. She's got permanent uptime on phalanx as long as she lives this. Still survivable. Come on, high lock, knock her back. Also got permanent uptime now. I think we would have secured permanent uptime a long time ago, but, well. That's like, would you just knock her backwards? Getting towards stability here. But surely. That's the reason why I healed her instead of the knight. Have an arrow coming. She should have permanent uptime on phalanx. I'm not sure. Oh, hell, she doesn't have it, does she? Well, crap. Anyway. That explains a lot about what's going on there. Okay, she's getting hidden. Are you kidding? Okay. Okay, it's fine. Everybody's replaceable. Canopus is not. They've been able to complete the stage this way before, or is all just possible in theory? Possible in theory. In testing, went and, I guess technically, yeah, in testing was workable enough. Because I've done this a few different ways in terms of just trying to figure out a good route through it. There was one way, which was locking her on that one tile in the water, but getting her over there was a massive pain in the butt. This, getting her to this tile over here, was another way. See, the thing that it comes down to is getting Phalanx Knights in place. It's like right here, at least getting one to hold her back so that every rock has a chance to be a knockback. The problem is what the other guys pick up along the way. So like what happened right here is that they ended up picking up a whole bunch of criticals on all their melee guys, which was just straight up bad luck in this case. So we've got like 50 plus crit odds on every one of their melee guys. So like initial plan was to hold them on this bridge, right? Two guys right here, hold on the bridge, everybody else surrounds her over here. Completely fair game. Like they're taking 90% damage reduction, everybody else is locked in over here, completely out of range, and Alto's over here distracting them. Crit, 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 crit. We end up getting knocked back to here. Further get pushed back all the way to here. So right now the current plan is just to try and essentially pull everybody towards just throwing stones in desperation, hoping to get those knockback damage ticks in order to hopefully deal with her that way. But yeah, this is doable. It's just very, very, well, you can see for yourself. Yeah, like, this is everything that can go wrong did go wrong, too. Because it's also a case where not only do they keep blocking attacks that should be hitting them, we're also repeatedly getting bullied by archers and such, ended up getting their bonuses. Had situations where I forgot to put one of the skills on one of the characters that should have it by this point. Can't use training, so they basically have whatever levels they have. You know, the whole double crits on most of their melee guys thing is not ideal by any means. But they keep getting crits, pushing in, you know, doing that whole thing. So that's not great. But yeah, she also picked up a mad jump along the way, which ended up causing her to be doing 255s instead of 150s, which is, you know, not great. So, anyways, 36 knockbacks. That's what we need at minimum to get this done. Stop critting, that'd be great. Also, by the way, this is the Night of Lotus remix of Catastrophe, which I suppose is fitting. Yeah, we haven't seen a lucky knockback in, like an hour. It's kind of wild. There's bad luck and there's whatever's going on here right now. Yeah, a lot of that is on me, though. Should have noticed the whole lack of phalanx thing earlier on. Any other units are sacrificable as long as we get some of those knockbacks here. Like, as long as Canopus makes it out, basically. See, I was wondering how you could take care of all the undead. Good plan, champ about the crits. Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of that was on me on account of not noticing a few things, like the whole lack of phalanx on this one here, because I keep stacking her for those skill cards, and it's just not happening. So, yeah, should have noticed that sooner. It is what it is. That life force spam is redonkulous. Fortunately, 2 units are about to bleed out here. Not really anything I can do about that. We already burned through every blessing stone that there is. Shop upgrade after this does give bonus swiftness, which does make this type of approach right here a lot more viable, because you can just kind of keep going for those repeated rolls over and over. Yeah, about that. Hey, you won't be seeing anybody. She can put this one to sleep. Crap. Her turn just became a heal, and if you're wondering, yeah, breaches, they won't really do anything to help us here. Even with 4 fizz-ups and Canopus throwing a rock on a breach, I don't have enough of an advantage at this point to do anything useful with that. Like, theoretically, this is still possible right now, it's just a matter of luck. Like, as long as they don't repeatedly get, like, crit after crit after crit. And it's relatively sustainable, not perfect by any means. But if any of these knockbacks would happen, that'd be awesome. Fortunately, positioning-wise, I can't move everybody without extreme risk as of right now. And so this means that there's only a couple units that are realistically putting out any sort of numbers. Spamming paralytic waves here to try to stem the tide in that direction. Kind of throwing out a rock whenever possible. Moldova does yell herself. Oh, she can't. All she's got is this right here. So she's got Life Force, she's got Wop, and she's got Meditate. She uses 1 leaf early on, and that's it. So, yeah, it is eventually doable, and ideally by this point you'd be in much better condition, with them not having gotten the perfect cards yet again. But, yeah. So there's that. This is what Phalanx is good for. Really would like to wrap this up and get to sleep. Hopefully. Get some of these lucky knockbacks going finally. I suppose technically, now that I think about it, no, she can be knocked back, I know that. Later on, thankfully this is This is after the point where it would be an issue. Later on, bosses are immune to knockback. And every time the weather gets worse, that does actually help us out a good bit. But their arrows are more likely to miss, and I really should have brought more smoke bombs. Yeah, still not super keen on the voices on some of these. There we go. They just broke through yet again. Can't keep getting away with this. All right. Go to sleep, you ridiculously lucky assholes. I mean, the more that I think about it, the more it is that this is in many ways like the brick wall for this run here. Is once you really after this part gets done is when we get BOS. That's probably the first big thing to being able to just sit there and re-roll over and over. Just stuck at basic speed, it's not great. I mean, like, slow comes a lot later than you'd think. That'll certainly help matters too. But, no, it's just a matter of sustaining. Thankfully, though, this is pretty good practice for whenever the pacifist run happens. A lot of it is going to be not dissimilar to this. God, would you get a knockback already? Like, go figure. Then, what if this ends up being a discovery of some oddly specific rule? Like, oh yeah, technically speaking, they can get knocked back, but they can't take knockback damage specifically in this one situation. The only one I know of who's knowledgeable enough of this game or crazy enough to attempt to use gun speed. Well, yeah, I guess there isn't exactly a whole lot of competition for this sort of thing. Though there was the guy that was doing the no movement challenge, so who knows? Maybe they'll figure out some impressive new tech out of nowhere. But still got to finish doing the rest of their series too. They're like 4 parts ahead from where I was last. We'll get to that at some point. But still, there's a little notch on their bar now, so it's something. Like, how much of an absolute cop-out would it be to get this far and be like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go take a nap, start up the next one. Yeah, I guess we're past that part. Feeling. Right, it's time to start throwing out some stuff here because They're gonna have to scatter. This, with those last couple crits, this area is completely overrun. Like, Denham's gonna stay there. He's gonna hold her in place, and I guess Canopus is gonna run around and doing what he's doing. Alright, she's dead. Almost dead. We got like one shot to survive here, and that's basically to go here, put this one to sleep, hope that somehow works, parry the guy on the left. So anyways, she's toast. So we are at best walking out of this thing with 2 knights and Canopus. Stone rocks. Obviously can't really keep taking these kinds of unsustainable losses with every single map, especially with the amount of lost experience. Ugh. And as long as we can make it past this one, then it's still fine. So one of the things that is different about Tor as compared to previous versions is I'm pretty sure we can't really do much about Leonar's setup. So he kind of auto-wins a bunch of fights, which means that we can rebuild after this. Pretty sure there's very literally nothing you can do to stop him from doing that. Because yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't take off their equipment anymore. But I'm pretty positive. Yeah, I'm starting to think that they are immune specifically to knockback damage. Like, not to knockback itself, just knockback damage. Weird. And in a second, I think I'm possibly going to allow 2 shield bashes just to, at the very least, test this. Seems extremely unlikely that they would have gotten this lucky this many times. In which case, there's actually technically another way to do it. Alright, so to explain what I'm thinking here real quick, if we do have to restart this thing, keep thinking one of the things that she was regularly doing is going over to that cliff and getting knocked down, so if I have everybody else fighting that fight on the right side, just have Canopus fly over. Thing is, he'd have to switch out of Vartan, which means that he can't necessarily switch back. This is a challenge run, huh? Yeah, I mean... it certainly is. It was specifically designed not to be done this way. Yeah, after the first few brick walls, it definitely will open up as far as options go, but this part is rough. Especially with, I have no idea who decided, let's include this knockback mechanic, but specifically make a boss immune to it. It was like FF3, and this run is a good example of why the system on that game was great. Your stones could leave craters by now in that system. That sounds awesome. What do you mean leave craters? What exactly happened there? What, was there some ground displacement system or something? Like, it's weird because as a matter of technicality, On the PSP version of this thing, you could be, by this point, you can basically one-shot her with stones by using the level system and as well as, anatomy and such. But that's not exactly the full story, because then that, like, as soon as that drops off, there's just, like, nothing. So oddly enough, in the long run, the ones here end up being overall more viable, but, yeah, that 10 damage tick knockback thing. I think the way that we're going to have to do this, we're just going to have to abuse that one cliff. When she was getting knocked off that cliff, she was taking 8. She was taking proper knockback damage there. Yeah, let me test this with a shield, since, like, at this point it's scuffed. We're just testing with the shield just to see if it does knockback damage. Yeah, that's weird. It's weird that it's only under that one circumstance then. See how it goes stoning? Not well. So ultimately, yeah, this one's a scuffed attempt with some lessons learned. Apparently, there is a oddly specific boss immunity to only the one type of knockback damage that comes from, I guess, unarmed attacks into something else. Because it seems unlikely that for over an hour there wasn't a single crit, but when you use a shield like we do right here, they still take that extra number. That's the one that we were rolling for there, so like knocking back into something is supposed to give you that. So I'm not sure if it's like they can't get knocked to the sides in that particular area, or what exactly. But yeah, that's an oddly specific thing you wouldn't expect anyone to program in, but there you go. That's why we run these tests. Okay. So instead of normal level up, attacks, health, magic speed, etc., would use... would increase the more I use them? Yeah. I mean, those kinds of systems are a lot of fun. I mean, this one, again, had a very similar system and technically does the same thing with weapons. But it also dropped off in older systems, like, dropped off a lot. Okay. So, a couple of things here. Give that to be equipped with this. Should have had this. Yeah. Yeah, very, very weird. I don't know why they would do that. That's, fairly indecision. Also, you don't get the stones, you get these. Certainly get more of these ones. Don't really need that same thing over there. You give up this. See, then again, if there's going to be a game with weird mechanics that don't make sense at BTO, yep. Yep. Yeah, this was a weird one. We have specifically screwed you over in advance on purpose. As a joke. Okay. So a couple of other things that could change here. Can have that. Probably should have kept these swords and axes around. It's any good. That. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. There's one more thing that needs to be taken into consideration here, which is potentially switching you, of all things, to a fencer if I have another heal on hand. Yeah. This would statistically be a problem for him. But the reason to do this is basically just to let him swap out for healing too. Because he can't do that right now. Basically, there wouldn't be an option to switch back, though. Let's leave him as is for the time being. Alright, anyways, I'm just gonna put it out there like this, and then we're just gonna wrap it up for now. Because I really need to get to bed. Right, so y'all have yourselves a good one. Thank you for stopping by on this dumb as hell idea, and yeah, hopefully next time we'll actually get past this bit with them not getting, 15 bajillion crit cards. Oh, hey, it's the PI or Black Knight PI theme again. All right, we're gonna let this play real quick. I'm gonna mute it, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Okay? So, all right. Thank you all for stopping by. Again, the plan for next time is basically just to do the same plan as this one, but better. So, hold these two tiles with the two knights that have phalanx. They hold off everybody here. Canopus flies back to the back with a healer. Healer keeps him healed. He keeps pelting rocks. She really enjoys this cliff, so repeatedly knock her off this cliff, because that knockback damage is fair. This is apparently cheating. So, good to know. It's not necessarily that the map itself is rough. Like, it's a cool map. It's got a lot of different avenues and stuff like that. It's just like, why are they immune to that one specific thing? It's so weird. Oh, you learn something new every day. Because, yeah, this mechanic was only introduced in this version. It's not like it's some leftover thing. It's literally like they are getting knocked back and taking a hit because they are hitting something. Presumably this was tied with whatever work they were doing with the pincer mechanic and stuff. It was just like, is it because they're behind two things? Is it related to the pincer mechanic? So it doesn't have a tile that's valid behind them, so it can't trigger knockback damage? Is it specifically because they are not hitting something? Are they not allowed to take knockback damage from hitting something? They can take fall damage. They can't be knocked back. What the fuck is going on? So, that's weird. Anyways, so, yeah, y'all have yourselves a good one. Take care. Thank you for stopping by. And, yeah, remember to go check out Warren's thing at some point, because, yeah, these mixes are pretty freaking fantastic. All right, take care. Y'all are awesome. Have a great evening.